Are we live? Yeah, we're live. Hello, hello, hello. Day 4 of the future. We're here. Let's do it. Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, whatever the hell it is where you are. It's noon for me, so it could be either one. Welcome, Chris. I see you're all dudded up again. Is that one of your shirts for sale?
That's one problem keeping, but at the same time, this is this is my new look for the year. I'm bringing chesty back. That's what I was joking about.
I know. I almost feel like I should.
I did it mostly last night. It was kind of a joke because like I knew I was going on TML, so I knew like some of the trolls would be in the comments. I knew they wouldn't be able to resist like, antagonizing me about it in the comments, and then I would just ignore them and it would piss them off, and it's like it worked beautifully. It was glorious to see like TV and stuff just being like button your shirt up, man, putting your shirt up. It's just and but the funny thing, what I didn't expect though was some of the ladies in the audience were like, no, we love it.
Oh.
I was really that was not part of my plan, but that was funny as shit though.
Doing it for the ladies.
A little something for the ladies.
Well, I just pulled up the news, and apparently there's quite a big headline. They released some Epstein documents, and I just found out about this. I'm just pulling up the article now. I have no idea what the details are, what's in them, so I figure we could explore that together live. And then there was a school shooting in Perry, Iowa, and that happened as well. And there's not a lot of details on it. There were some victims, multiple victims, sustained gunshot wounds. The shooter is dead from self-inflicted, but we don't know if any of the other casualties. So not much to report on that. So we'll focus on the Epstein stuff. And as usual, it's an open panel. So if you want to join us or talk about something, get your ass up here. Okay, 40 documents released late last night largely mentioned figures whose names were already known.
As I expected.
In fact, the judge who released it says she's doing so because much of the information is already public anyway. Let's see.
Yeah.
What are these records about? They're part of a 2015 lawsuit. It's that Ghislaine Maxwell lawsuit. Said the summer. Okay, so ooh, I don't know if I want to. Is this misinformation? It's coming out of an AP article.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't.
It feels like gossip. It feels like Inquirer level gossip, but it's throwing out some names. It's that Virginia Giuffre lady that brought the lawsuit in 2015. It's the men that she alleged she had sex with, or was pressured into having sex with. So get to what can we expect to see? Here we go. It's people named in the records. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a list of names of people that were supposedly. Paul was talking about his show talking about this on his show last night. And it gets into conspiracy territory because there's no way to really know.
And even if there was really if there was anybody really truly important or whatever you want to call it that was on those lists, it's been redacted. It's not going to come out that I
don't know. There were some pretty big names in that article I just read.
Bill Clinton was he on there?
No. I don't want to. People can look it up. I don't want to. It feels like spreading gossip, and if I'm going to spread gossip, I'd rather it be about people I actually know that can come and confront me and talk to me about than like just spreading random celebrity names that I don't even know anything about.
Right.
And of course, the conspiracy theories are going to. Let's see. Matt Walsh is even in on it. The Epstein release is part of the cover up. Yeah, that's another reason. I don't want to get into the conspiracy stuff either. I'm really losing my patience for that. It just doesn't interest me. And I feel like if something on my stream doesn't interest me, it's probably not going to interest the people I'm trying to reach either.
Fair enough. Trying to get back into the AI image generator, but it's making me like reset my password.
Oh yeah, I sent you those image prompts. Did you come up with anything?
I haven't.
How did I like the stream last night? You mean the Jack Talcott show? It was bizarre because Machine's stream has traditionally been an open panel, and I thought I was going in there to have a group conversation with everybody else on the panel, and it turned out to be, and it's not Jack's fault. It's what is it, that ass emulation guy that was like playing the panel Karen, like trying to let Jack talk. Y'all are not giving Jack Jack was fucking talking for almost 2 hours. He talked nonstop. I've never heard him talk more in my life, and somehow we were keeping Jack from talking. And then ask Jack questions and let Jack answer questions. So it was Jack talk. Jack gets the questions. Jack gets to answer the questions. I don't have a problem with that, but that's not the expectation I went on the stream with it. If it was going to be the Jack Talcott like show, or if he was some featured guest that got center stage, then that's fine. But that's not what I walked into thinking it was. And it seemed like Machine didn't have anything to do with it. It was that ass emulation guy that just arbitrarily appointed him like manager of the conversation. And don't look, I'm a grown person. Don't tell. That's what they do up here that I fight with them about all the time, because the collectivism. People take it upon themselves to micromanage a conversation, and you just don't do that where I come from. You let adults say what they want to say and ask their own questions. I don't need that mediated by anybody. Yeah. He was. So that is my thoughts on the stream last night and how I liked it or not. Here's the interesting I found. Chris also could talk all night long in dialogue with Jack. If I tried to jump in and make a comment, I don't know how personal to take it, but it seemed like a lot of it was targeted me, because I tried to make what I thought were some very relevant comments. And I kept getting shut down. And every time I tried to ask a question to actually try to help Jack and understand him better, I also got shut down. And I got accused of not letting him answer the question. I couldn't even ask questions, and got accused of not letting him answer other people's questions by just me trying to ask questions. So I don't know how much of it was targeted at me in particular, because other people got to talk and ask as many questions as they wanted. And you're right, it was all that one guy, and it was Machine's show. So how that guy got to usurp Machine's show, I don't know.
Yeah, so I agree. I didn't understand like why they weren't why no one was like listening to or letting you talk either. Like this was bullshit. Like, yeah. I mean, I certainly would like take over anything myself. I was honestly just trying to ask him some questions from a truly like curious perspective.
That's what I thought we were on there to do. That's a dialogue and a conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely. I mean, but overall, I actually had a lot of fun on the panel, because I like antagonizing the trolls, and I mean not antagonizing them directly, like antagonizing them by ignoring them. I find that very, very cathartic. Like whenever they get mad.
I don't know if that antagonism or not, but
to me, well, there's nothing more antagonizing.
I don't care about antagonizing trolls, because they feed on that too.
Yeah,
I ignore them for my own sanity and mental health.
The one thing they can't stand is being ignored. They're like that. They'll like the chicken fail attraction. You will not ignore me. You know.
Jack, you think it was? What are you playing with?
I'm trying to get my friggin' I'm trying my, like, it's saying like my password's wrong for to get into the image creator thing.
Oh, okay. Because all we see is the top of your big bald head.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't wear a hat this morning. I get it to reset the password, and it keeps telling me I'm doing it wrong, and I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Yeah,
Ugh!
I thought it would be interesting to like once if we have guests on as a group, try to feed it some prompts and see what images it comes up with based on whatever conversation we're having here or whatever prompts we decide to feed it that emerge from that. I also I did I've been creating different characters. I've been having so much fun with GPT. I can create all these characters and have dialogue, like conversations with them. Like I created some sassy black women. They gave me Rusty the redneck. I created a satanic character. The autistic character was so stereotyped. I wasn't impressed with that one at all. There's a like a gay drag queen. But another thing I did was tried to have an actual philosophical dialogue using Socrates and Aristotle, and I it told me to give it a topic. So the topic I chose was community. So it's a meeting of minds, Socrates and Aristotle on community, and I haven't even read it yet. So I thought it might be fun to go through and see what these revered philosophers have to say about what we're trying to do
That
here
sounds
with
fun.
world.
Yeah, we should do that.
Let's see. There were at least three groups of troll. Oh, so Jack, I wish. Okay, I want you to come on today. I see. I wasn't aware of any of that. I don't know the ins and outs of trolldom, and so you mean there's like distinct groups of trolls that coordinate with each other and come on with different agendas and purposes. That's fascinating. Um, because I didn't even recognize, like, I didn't even really think that guy was a troll. I thought he was maybe a fan of Jack and was like trying to play superhero to Jack or rescue him or I don't know, get like cupcake him or whatever. And but he was very protective and defensive of Jack. Like Jack needs that. Like Jack's not also a grown ass adult. So I'm very interested in who these troll groups are. And in fact, I'm more interested in that than the Epstein stuff, actually. Oh, in your opinion. Because most of the people on the panel were people we already know, like Chris, Chuck was there. I mean, you were there for a little while. I'm trying to remember who else was on. Hank. So it was all people that hang out even on this panel and have perfectly normal. Well, I don't know about normal, but perfectly effective conversations. And so that it was just that Chris guy didn't know, but he didn't seem to be a troll. It was that one guy that jumped on here to start like moderating for Jack. And I don't know if that was trolling. Or do you mean in the comments? Yeah, I saw the usual trolls in the comments. They don't interest me. Although some of them were Reddington cracks me up and TBE was actually amusing last night. Okay, let's see. So Socrates says, "Tell me, Aristotle, what binds a polis together?" And the polis, of course, was the city-state. So we're going to just take it as community. What makes a collection of individuals a true community rather than a mere assemblage of strangers? And Aristotle, stroking his chin in thought, Socrates, a worthy question. Perhaps it is shared laws and customs, the glue that holds society in order, a common purpose, a collective good that all citizens strive for. Well, actually, Aristotle, you know what? I think you're right because I have said the same thing. What I use is shared values or shared interests. There's something shared. It's usually unless it's explicitly an activity community, like I don't know, a movie club or a sports group or something like that. Then if it's a random collection of people like this, there's usually some value beneath it all that's allowing us all to interface. It could be like free speech or personal freedom or anti woke or whatever, but it's probably some shared value or set or collection of values that's holding this together. I would like to see those values turn more into a common purpose, collective good that all members strive toward. But I don't know if we're at that stage yet. Community building, it's an organic process that goes through, like an acorn to an oak. It goes through its own like life cycle and growth curve. And I'm just here to kind of facilitate that, manage it, direct it, in where I need to so that it grows healthy. But other than that, it kind of it has its own life, and I think we're still at the early stage. So all of that's going to coalesce and emerge at some point. And yet, Aristotle, have we not encountered communities bound by tyranny where laws serve only the oppressor? Can a community truly exist if its foundation is not freedom and justice? I know it's probably throwing justice in there because it's Socrates, but I'm not sure justice has application to what we're trying to do. Otherwise, other than I think everyone here has a strong sense of justice and reacts when they feel or imagine that it's been violated. But I think freedom really is the big value. Being allowed to think and say what's on our mind and hearts, not being told what to do, not having our conversations micromanaged, ass emulation. So stuff like that, I would center around freedom more than anything else, and that could be my own bias, but there is certainly a great amount of freedom that I've noticed in this community that we allow each other, which is good. Keep doing it. Now we delve into the very heart of the matter. I believe Aristotle. Oh wait, yeah, that true justice arises from knowledge. When each citizen or each member understands their role in the community, their rights and responsibilities, only then can justice flourish. So justice is a kind of a stand-in because he wrote the Republic as kind of a thought experiment of sorts to examine what justice is. So I think justice is making its way into the conversation based on that, and that it's an AI. But I'm willing to kind of ignore the justice part and just focus on community flourishing. And how do we acquire this knowledge? Through dialogue, my friend, through the constant questioning and examination of ourselves and our society. Does that not sound like what we've been doing up on here and what we're trying to do?
Yeah, totally, it does. Yeah.
Oh, this is so rich. And this is coming from Socrates, y'all. Aristotle. I cannot deny the power of dialogue, Socrates, but, oh, smell a butt. But knowledge alone is not enough. We must also cultivate virtue. That's what Jack was saying last night. The strength of character to act on what we know is right. I have more realistic ambitions from what I've seen from this community so far. I do not have this lofty of a expectation that we're going to all cultivate virtue and have the strength of character to act on these noble intuitions and um, like judgments of what we know is right. So Aristotle, you and I can fight about that a little bit. Not that you're wrong, but I think it takes a certain type of community, and that might not necessarily be what this one is. For without courage, temperance, and wisdom, even the most just laws will crumble. And they're talking about community in the sense of creating a society. So there's more of a need for laws and rules for them, but here I think I've always said the communities I create, I don't have any rules. I make a rule as I need it, and so far I haven't needed to make any kind of firm rigid rule other than no trolls, but that's just like good practice for keeping a community healthy. So this is not necessarily a community built on rules and laws. It's more built on I guess whatever mores and practices emerge, like whatever etiquette we can all determine that for ourselves and self-determine it as a group, and it's just going to emerge like how we mesh together. But I don't think we need explicit rules for that. So he talks about the just laws crumbling without courage, temperance, and wisdom. But I haven't really seen, at least on my stream, I haven't seen any kind of structure, what little there might be in place, crumble. I have seen it on other streams when people can't manage their streams and the trolls take over. Indeed, virtue is the bridge between knowledge and action. That's interesting because we talked about this the last few days about dreaming and action, like taking what's in the head and putting it into some kind of action that can manifest or produce a result. So it's interesting that Socrates identifies virtue as the link between those two. I'm thinking about that because I have not. I wonder what he means by virtue. I'm going to ask him after we get to the end because we're in this conversation too. But how do we foster such virtue in our citizens? Can it be forced upon them, or must it blossom from within? Again, this is straight from the conversation last night with Jack. It's tying this AI conversation with these two philosophers, classical philosophers, are tying in so many of the themes that come up on these very panels. So here's I'm wondering if the virtue he's talking about from knowledge to action is not things like justice and compassion and goodwill and those kind of virtues, but if it's things like commitment and um motivation, commitment, and what's the other one I was thinking of that I just lost? Starts with an R, but my brain's going blank. Anyway, virtues like that, like ability to follow through, reliability. Like if it's things like reliability and commitment, and those are the virtues that in a community like this that we're trying to create something. Take take it from what he's calling knowledge and what I would call imagination or dreaming into action. Education is the key. That's another thing Jack was saying. And I told Jack to run his thoughts through the AI, and I think it would help
And
clarify.
that was actually something that I was actually trying to talk to him about. I was trying to say, like, I was trying to suggest actual practical things he could do that you could control. Yeah. I was actually I was that's what I was trying to engage with him on. I was trying to say, like, like, I mean, I think you're a good charismatic guy. You seem like you have your heart in the right place, but like this whole like idea of like trying to do these top down like world changing things strictly through like good thoughts and positive vibe ain't gonna go nowhere. And like, why don't you try to like like, why don't you start yourself a church, start yourself a community group of some sort, like so
He
start.
has a stream, like start there, and
Yeah,
he
I know.
kind of does that on his own stream. But I mean, he has
I
viewer. He has what? Like how much
I don't
viewers
know how
does
many
he have
viewers he
so far
has.
that his word is getting out to? Let's see.
But still, I mean, but if he
He
did it
has
IRL,
1,600 subscribers, like 16 times more than we do. That his message is getting out to.
sure. I mean,
He's
and it's
already on
not.
that path.
I mean, he's got a good start. I just think, like, he needs to. But education is key. That, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I mean, I believe that that's
But
one of my main goals
education, not
for my thing.
indoctrination.
Oh,
And what he's
absolutely, yeah,
talking about, I worry is going to skirt the line for indoctrination.
yeah. But I believe we need to provide people knowledge and also provide them the
I
ability to
try,
understand
bro.
that knowledge. Like, just
I
giving people
try.
knowledge isn't enough. You have to
And not even not like how to. I mean, I provide knowledge when I have it, but it's more how to secure your own knowledge or how
yeah.
to
You gotta
like
teach people how
access
to
knowledge
think.
when you need it and how to think, what to do with that knowledge, how to approach knowledge and use it to think in a way that's going to produce truth and sense and something realistic that can be
Yeah.
actionable.
The Sophia
I
and the
drank a
logos.
giant bottle of Gatorade this morning and I got to pee so bad. So
Okay, go, yeah, go ahead.
keep it going and I'll be back in like a minute.
All right, no problem. Hey, Jack, going. Hey, Chuck. It's good to see you guys again. I personally, I know, like, it was frustrating for Jeff last night. I felt bad that Jeff kept getting like cut off and stuff like that. Like, I didn't know how to like get him like talking space in there. I mean, because like I didn't seem to have that issue, but it did seem like there was like people trying to like keep Jeff from talking. I don't get why, but I had a blast in the stream last night myself. I had a lot of fun. Um, I mean, it was fun. I was first time I really engaged with Jack on anything. I've never really I've kind of like had some um I've had some interactions with him, but I never really like engaged with him or anything. And I had a blast, like just like, I mean, because I don't feel, and I mean, I from my perspective, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I was being completely respectful towards him. I was not making fun of him. I was not, I wasn't like, calling him names or anything like that. I was genuinely trying to tease out and trying to understand like what his actual philosophy, his actual plan was beyond like the hippy dippy kind of like, you know, we just all need to love each other and just be more have more gratitude and stuff like that. Those aren't answers. That does not tell anybody. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good, but it's like we just need to have more hope, guys. We need to have more love, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't it doesn't produce results, and like we need things that produce results. Um, and it's just I don't know. I think that I think Jack's a good guy. I really do. I think he's a good guy. I like him. I want from I think I'm probably just a little. I don't know if we're about the same age or if I'm a little bit older than him or what, but I really would like to help him focus the ability he has to attract that audience and focus it into something where it could actually be practically useful. That's kind of like my goal in general. Like I want to help people. I said this TCPS too when I used to be on here. I'm like, dude, like you've got some great ideas, you got some great things to say, but I'm not sure that like this whole panel thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't go on the panels. I'm not sure that's the goal, the path for you. Maybe you need to write a book, maybe and things like that. And
We
like he doesn't really, people don't really see it. They don't want to take that
with
kind of
TCPS,
advice.
it's not the fact that it's not the medium, because when he started talking about the other day about people that I don't remember the exact conversation, but like poor people or people like us and the struggles we face when we're trying to achieve success or secure the kind of life for ourselves that we want. He was reaching me. It's the island shit. Like nobody's interested in that. It doesn't relate. Westerners are not going to relate to this obscure tribe living on an island. When you start talking about their practical problems and some solutions for it, that's when he started making sense. And I'm like, God, I relate to everything he's saying now. So it's his content. It's not his medium.
But I think for I was using an example. It wasn't the main point, but I think he would benefit a lot from actually, working. I even offered to work with him to like sit down and help him outline like a book that he could write his ideas into.
AI could do that for him too.
Or I could do it for him. Just to structure his ideas better into something where like he could actually, but when he's just doing it, free, it tends to get jumbled up in a lot of this other muckety
Your
muck kind of
echo
stuff.
thing is happening again. I don't know why.
I do not know what that is.
It's not. It's
My
almost not
headset?
an echo. It like doubles or triples every few words or so for some reason.
Let me see what I can do. I don't know what the freaking.
Morning, Chuck.
Morning.
Here, let me turn off echo cancellation. What does that do? That worse? Better?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I mean, is it still doubling?
Well, it just happens sporadically. So just keep talking, and I'll let you know if it.
Well, I'm sorry about that, guys. I can't hear it myself, so I have no idea when it's happening.
If my road noise is too much, let me know.
Hey, Joe.
Look who we got. Welcome, Joe.
Who the hell? Oh, time to end the show.
It's over.
No, it's just getting started now.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Thank you. Same.
Always
Jeff,
a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for that, Jeff. You were killing it. I guess you were doing some AI conversation. I just heard what you were talking about we could change something with reliability and put motion into action, whatever it was. I didn't see the AI, but apparently you're running something through some AI. I was interested in everything that UCAS was saying.
Oh yeah, we're talking to Aristotle and Socrates about community building.
That's great. I'll come to the right place. I'll roll a blunt. Fuck yeah.
In fact, so Aristotle's saying that education is the way that education is the key, and not just the memorization of facts, but cultivation of critical thinking. That's exactly what I just got.
That was Einstein said.
That's the thing right there. Teaching
and
people
a sense of civic responsibility.
Teaching people
and
how
I know
to think.
Jack is really big. I mean,
how to think.
Jack is really big on ethical reasoning, and Paul P.F. Jung is really big on civic responsibility. So again, we see the same themes showing up in this little conversation. Through
Einstein-
education, we can nurture the seeds of virtue within each individual, allowing them to grow into pillars of the community. God,
remember that. I want you to say that again. I wanted to break it down the first time you said it, but I wanted to say something. Einstein said the same thing that both you just said. They asked him a question that he was like, I could look that up in a book. That has nothing to do with knowledge. You must teach how to think. Same thing that Aristotle on YouTube catch or whoever I was saying. And what was that? That last, was that from one of them?
Through education, we can. Well, he says the cultivation of three things: critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and a sense of civic responsibility or community responsibility.
Oh,
and he
okay.
says that through that we can nurture the seeds of virtue.
All right, give me again. Say them again. The three:
critical thinking, ethical reasoning, which is another form of thinking, and a sense of like community responsibility or group responsibility.
I love it. I love philosophy. I love philosophers. Go ahead.
And Socrates says, education, a noble ideal, yet how do we ensure it reaches all corners of the community? Should it be a privilege of the elite or a right shared by all? I don't think you can ensure it. Education is something you can offer, but it's up to each individual to access it. You can't guarantee.
Yeah. I don't think it should be a privilege of the elite at all, obviously. But I do think that education is really open to those who are really willing to receive it.
So we cannot make sure that it reaches everyone. That's not a thing. Both you are saying.
I don't think there are people we've been trying to do that for thousands of years, and here in the U.S. for hundreds of years. So I think we do the best we can, but we're not going to reach everyone.
It's got to be offered and made available to all, though, right? Jeff, you agree with that, right?
Yeah, no, it should be offered to everyone.
But absolutely.
To ensure, you cannot ensure that everyone will receive it, though.
I'd agree.
I think that's one thing that every single person agreed on last night is absolutely more education. I hear that over and over in these panels. Like if there's one thing that we all agree on, it's not restricting education, but expanding it.
We all don't agree on civic duty. Some people think, do for self. And I can't remember the other one, critical thinking. I guess maybe we all agree on that, even though some of us are incapable of it.
I try to help with that as best I can.
I think civic duty is important. I just don't think it should be mandatory. But I think that if you educate people, the first part, and the people that receive that education, they will want to be civilly responsible. They will want to give back if they learn and they critically think. They see the future that's coming and everything like that. It's only natural that you're going to want to now some people may have other priorities. Some people may have other better functions than civil responsibility, whatever but that's a really broad term. So people think civil responsibility, they think about that. They think about helping out in the community, like doing a food bank or something like that. But civil responsibility can be just simply using your talents to better the world. I mean, that can be anything.
Yes,
right?
yes. Like civic duty in that sense, better than the world type of shit. Yeah.
And since we're talking on the community level, I think it could even be something as simple as you get a benefit from the community, and the community gets stronger. But each person that contributes creates something greater than any one person. So it's just being inspired to contribute.
That's dope. Each person who contributes creates something greater. I dig it. That's
I'm really big on personal freedom, but I have always said with freedom comes responsibility. So it's not just about you securing freedom to do what you want.
Did you guys know that Jeff was
Spider-Man? That comes with that freedom.
Spider-Man.
Did you know Jeff was Spider-Man?
I do.
Joe, Jack is wanting to know what you think of Talcott's vision.
What's good?
You and him didn't get along the other day. I just remembered.
I don't even remember when that happens. It happens that fucking often. It don't bother me, and I hope it don't bother him. I was just thinking that Jack, if you can, you should come up. I was just thinking that there are similarities here to Jack's vision. It was in my head.
I was too.
Yeah. The only difference so far is that I'm not sure Jack preaches the active side, get active side. Maybe he does. I don't know. But the rest of it sounds a lot like Talcott.
Yeah, he does a little bit. He talks about people
I don't feel like Talcott's vision
process, contacting Congress, etc.
I feel like Talcott's vision is anything all that particularly unique. I'm not trying to insult him. I don't think it's that unique of a vision per se. It's something that people have been talking about, and
I
a lot of
dig it.
people in like those kind of like those kind of that I use this term. I use this term just because it's common, but not because I really think I think it was a negative thing. But kind of hippie dippy kind of,
I dig it.
kind of
I
understandings
get
of
it.
like of how to change the world kind of thing. We can all
Right.
change the world through holding hands and loving each other better and being more.
That's a good
gracious and
point.
stuff,
That's a good point. How was Jack? No offense, Jack. How was Jack's philosophy any different from the new age hippie dippy, however he put it?
Well,
I
even
understand what he's saying.
And
even
Jack,
back
we're
in
talking about you if you want to come on and
the
join
late
in.
'60s, early '70s, the hippie movement was big. I was alive back then, unfortunately, but
Were you a hippie?
I was not yet.
no, I wasn't a hippie. But even as big as that was, that failed to produce anything. And when I
Very
pointed
good.
out that
It
when I
did. Yeah.
pointed when I pointed that out to Jack, his response to me was angrily, "So what?"
If
And I was
if
like, "So
yeah,
what?"
Jack, you should embrace that. That's very good. There are similarities to your philosophy, in my opinion, and this is how you reinforce them. You look at someone's trying to do what you did, and you see what they went wrong, and you make the corrections. He did you a favor telling you the hippies failed at it. I would say, what they do what made them fail. What do I do different? And I thank them for that shit. Personally, that's how I
And
do it.
I don't know that Talcott's in our comments. I don't know if he's listening right now. So
Oh, okay. All right.
we might be talking to him, but I don't know if he's actually here. So just
Yeah.
letting him right now.
Maybe
All
he'll
right.
see the stream later or something.
Yeah, he may lose the stream later.
Didn't you just put up a comment of his?
That was Jack. That was
No,
that was
Miro
Neurojack.
Jack. There's two
Oh,
Jacks.
okay. All
Talking
right.
about
I'm
Talcott.
stupid. All right. Oh, that Nick Neurojack, you should come up. You're a smart fuck.
Yeah, no, I thought he was going to come up.
Well,
Anyway.
And in Jeff's defense, even though he didn't get to ask his questions that he wanted to last night, I'll be the first to tell you, Jeff, you wouldn't have got an answer anyway.
That's true.
Even Jeff knows. I don't know what Jeff.
Well,
Jeff
I don't know
agrees.
Jack that well, but it was worth a shot.
I mean, I didn't get an
he-
answer for anything I asked.
No, he's got this visions of greatness.
He has this thing where you'll suggest something, he'll just go like this, like, and that's
blow you off.
answer.
No feedback.
I like Jack. I think he's a
Jack.
Good guy trying to do good in the world in his own way.
Yes. However, he is not open to these critiques. He's not open to critique, period. Certainly not these.
I think I'm not always open to critique either.
Oh, okay. I'll be.
You might push back, but you're still open to listening to it. You don't get angry and just start
yelling.
Yeah,
you do. You're pretty good. What's good, Neurojack?
Hold on, Jeff. You need permission to speak, don't you? That was crazy.
I got your permission, Chuck.
No, you know it's. I'm sure that Chuck and Joe know a little better. First of all, I'm a little sick, so if I sound a little weird, that's the reason why.
You actually sound better than you usually do.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, maybe it makes maybe make my mind focus.
It might be beneficial.
I'm sick with it. That's right.
I'm sick with it.
But I think that Chuck and Joe kind of know that like there's different cliques in these panels and shit. Like people are playing different roles for different people for different reasons, and
yes,
it's hard to know really who's being for real and who's like.
Agreed.
Like I was getting trolled by some dude that I thought I'm cool with for like 2 hours, and I'm like.
Where was this?
Just before you showed up.
Before we got there. Yeah, we and Jack.
Saying that I'm like a Fed and like that I'm a sovereign citizen, and I'm like,
are you
what
talking
the fuck
about
are you
Mitch?
talking about?
Even if you are, so
Yeah, exactly, Mitch. And I thought I was cool with him. Like I bumped heads with him like 4 months ago one time, and like nothing. He hasn't said anything to me until like yesterday. I'm like, okay,
is it Mitch that be over there with Paul sometime?
Who is
I
this?
guess so. I don't know. I don't know anything about the dude other than like we bumped heads, and I don't remember
He got
what
really long
about
hair
what.
because
Yeah,
that Mitch,
that's him, Joe.
he was
That's him.
probably sincere. He probably meant
Who-
those things.
Oh
Who
no,
is
I know.
it?
Like no, but I know. But that's the thing is like I don't even know what he's upset about, and he's like, I'm not upset. I'm like, okay, well, he's like, I have evidence that you are using talking points of sovereign citizens, and you're fed,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't even know what a sovereign citizen is, but
This
okay.
is a symptom of no life. Who is this guy?
Mars. We call him Mars. Real name is Mitch.
Mars
Uh,
Life?
Mars Life. That's
Mars
what they're
Life.
talking
I've
about.
heard
Yeah.
I've heard the
I've
name,
seen
but
it in
I
chat.
don't know.
Yeah, and like I was trying to be just genuine with him. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. I mean, it's like I don't really care, you know. And he's like, oh, you know, and it really doesn't matter. It's just like it's to illustrate the point that like he's using the talking points of people who came after me, but he's acting as if he's acting on his own. And I'm just saying, like, that's
I
illustrative of
dig it.
what you'll see in these panels. You know, it's like
Yes.
people will pretend that they're on their own mission. They're their own man, but
I
really
like it.
they're not really on their own
Yes.
mission. They're
Now
they're, they're
that you
playing.
say
You
that,
know.
and now that you say that, I see why Jack gets mad because I'm sure a lot of the shit I say come from the people who he already recognizes act like they're their own on their own, but they're a group. I hop
Correct.
in and give a
Yeah.
similar argument. He knows I'm a nice cat, but he can't help but conflate them.
No, exactly, and I say that to put everything in context. So Jeff kind of knows, like when Jeff is getting told, like "shut up," so Jack can answer. There's probably an ulterior motive. It's
Yeah,
probably
that's
not about
troll
you,
shit.
you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
troll shit. Someone's trying to cause enmity, inflate Jack's head. It's a very common tactic over there. It is.
yeah, and it just helps you put into perspective, like you know that whatever you think is going on the surface, it's probably a lot deeper. And like that's why I said,
Yes,
Jeff,
that's
you're
what
starting
I
to see the
think.
conspiracy. Jeff is starting to become a conspiracy theorist because he's starting to see like the mechanics of like how this like
Yes.
manipulation shit
Yeah,
works,
but I
right?
don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. Like that one guy last night, I don't think he's was like an agent that was sent down by a group to do this deliberate attack. I think that's who
Well,
he is.
why
That's just
why don't you think that? I mean, he's definitely a
why
part of some groups.
why because I have no reason to think that. He was just a lone solitary asshole that he
Which
had a
guy we
particular
talking
way
about?
he thought the
Yeah, I
panel
thought he was
should
just a
go, and
Jack
he was
fan.
very assertive about it.
That's all I thought. He was just a Jack fan. He was just there to like defend Jack.
He was the
That's
panel
all.
Karen.
You talking about MC Nemesis?
No, his name is
No.
assimilation or assimilation.
Oh,
Assimilation,
okay.
assimilation or simulation. Yeah, assimilation or
Okay.
simulation.
The other Chris guy, right?
No.
Okay,
That
I
was
know
a
him.
different
No,
guy.
no.
The other Chris
Oh.
guy I had no problem with. I had no problem
Oh,
with the other Chris
okay.
He was a rando. He didn't have a avatar or anything. He was just a little,
Oh,
like,
okay.
circle.
Oh, he was the voice in the background.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
voice in the big guy.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't figure out who that was.
The one who was trying to
Yeah, me
moderate the
neither.
stream instead of a machine who it was just I guess machine said like no I
Machine
don't think
sat. I've never seen him quieter. He sat
yeah
there.
he
the
did
whole
not say a
show,
word
up
like
in the
the
little
whole
corner,
stream. Yeah.
like
Well,
the logo.
we all try to moderate streams to some degree. Like when we I interject a lot, but then when I get my point across or I fail to make my point, I let it go because I realize either A, people are not really listening, or B, I'm not going to get any further, right? And so, but
Well,
my point is, but the thing is, what this guy was doing, he may have been doing it for honest reasons, but the truth is, like, most likely he had some ulterior motive, and he might not even actually be on Jack's team. A lot of the times they'll just get Jack to say a bunch of stuff, or get somebody to say a bunch of stuff, and they try to use that as evidence that they're not being honest. Like this dude Mitch was trying to do to me. He's like, "Oh, well, you said this, and then you said this." It's like, okay, it's like they never take you as good faith, and so that's kind of like what I've noticed is like everyone's trying to play this different role of, catch you in
why
some
is Jack
bullshit or
a
whatever.
target?
Why is he such a target?
Because he lives in delusion.
That makes him an easy
He's
target,
by far
certainly.
not the only one.
Yeah. But it's more
he's not
to
the
it.
only one. That's
It had
true.
to be more to it than that.
I was being facetious.
Yeah, but
I know you were, man.
I like an
Okay.
answer now. Why is Jack such a target? Well, obviously he does a lot of shit that makes him a target. But that aside, he's targeted Ah, fuck. He's also complicit in a lot of that shit.
Yeah, well, he does a lot of double speak, which gets him in trouble.
I'm thinking that
And also, he portrays the most peaceful, like hippie, like like all peace and love guy. But then you say one thing that disagrees with him, and he turns into a completely different person and just starts yelling, start to
yeah,
motherfucker and shit like that. And it's just like it's
yes.
like okay, dude. I don't even think that criticism was all that serious. Like you don't really need to, you don't need to get that angry about somebody just saying that like I don't understand how, because that's all anybody was saying was like, okay, like we all agree that those
Well,
are all good
the,
things,
the,
but
well,
nobody knows how you get that.
you and I talked about this, Chris, last night. Like a lot of
Yeah.
what he says is kind of he's kind of like pointing to something that's true, but the reality is like if we all kind of had this similar vision of him, like it would be nice if we didn't have to live within lies. It'd be nice if the government would like serve the people. The thing is like how are you going to get there? Well, either A, you need a miracle, B, you need social engineering,
Or
C, you
technology.
need like absolutely brutal clamp down on people until they just want to be better people, which is a different form of social engineering. Or C, like you said, you need technology. And even then, like let's say that we have everything presented to us for free by technology. Well, people are still gonna like get off on doing evil, right? I mean,
Like getting
you're
the
not just
internet.
gonna zap that out.
All right, you're
Exactly.
doing
Exactly
yeah.
right.
Yeah, human
Yeah.
nature is not going anywhere.
Exactly. Like just because scarcity disappears does not mean that people will stop wanting more than they have. I mean, it just even if there is no scarcity, but at some point, like I mean, like it's a fantasy to think that we're going to eliminate the idea of resources. Period. Even if we have replicators or whatever like that, it's still going to take energy. Energy is still got to come from somewhere. And like, until we actually, if we actually create something, some sort of great solar
Well,
panel and these batteries and all this
and
other kind of shit. I mean, it's just
and
like it's just not.
not to interrupt you, I just want to make this point really quick
Yeah.
because this is a point that I try to bring up, and I think this is where people like Mitch and other people think that I'm like defending the system or something. It's like no, I'm just recognizing what's true, which is that if you just release all this technology to the public, and let's say free energy, or let's just say that the government decides to be benevolent tomorrow, right? Well, or
Yeah.
we get rid of secrets, for example. People are going to take advantage of that, right? Like, why is the digital dollar, or digital currency so much of a danger? It's not just because the government can use that to track and trace and control. That's honestly like it's a concern of mine. Don't get me wrong, but it's also the fact that you're at the mercy of hackers or at the mercy of people's goodwill. Because if somebody goes and destroys that system or manipulates that system, whether they're a rich person or just some dude in Nigeria or some dude in India or some dude in
I love your point,
Spokane,
but
Washington, you know
I
what I mean?
love
It's like you're
and
making yourself vulnerable. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Yeah,
all I
that's all I
do
Yeah,
have.
is
Jack wants
consider
a world where
all I
everybody
do
can
is
leave their door
I just want to
unlocked.
recapitulate what he said. That's because I'm guilty of that shit. All I do is consider the government will take it and abuse it. You're right. Once it becomes popular, the average Joe, and I have no money in my pocket, it could be a Tuesday and some guy in his dorm room ruins my day because he figured out how to do some shit. That's a real thing too. Or some guy in fucking China that steals a half of our so and so, and I got to suck it up on account of everybody else because I can't stash money under my mattress and shit. All right,
Exactly.
talking out
No,
loud.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. No.
exactly.
Yeah.
And also this is my problem with technology because as we get more interconnected and interdependent, one wrench in the gear can fuck up the whole world, and people just take it as
That's
granted, like,
that's
oh, that's never gonna
that's what
happen.
that's what I was saying. I was saying it doesn't. If we get you get everybody on the same page, politics is one person decide that hey, wait a second, everybody's being all nice and all I have to do is just like
That's right. If everybody
The-
can't lie
it's a
and one
chain
person
reaction.
does, if
yeah,
everybody can't lie and one person does, they're the king. See what I mean?
they're
Yeah.
God suddenly. Yeah,
Yeah, and unless we have like literally intrusive like brain scanning technology or something like, shit like that suppresses
They're coming. They
emotion.
have AI now. They hooked it up to people's brains, and it transcribed their thoughts at 40% accuracy.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm,
here's
I'm
these
get
little
out. No,
sensors they
no, no,
attach to the
no. I need
head.
to see that. I need to see that because I've been trying to keep abreast of how
Let me see if I can
fast
find it.
this technology has gotten. And I've only seen it was caveman shit. I haven't, and some shit is good, eye tracking or whatever the fuck, but nothing
Uh,
really good. Stephen Hawkins was still not a benefit by today's fucking advancements. He wouldn't have been able to do shit. He still sounded the same.
It's a Twitter video, so we can watch the video if you want.
Sure,
It's
let's
not
check
an
it out.
article. I'm gonna go.
I put up a video of a guy jumping the judge today. You guys probably saw it. And some pretty interesting comments. Half of them are, yeah, that's what that hooker get.
I was gonna play that one. I'll play it later. Yeah, I saw that one.
And the other half is, now you're an idiot. Now you're gonna do some real time. It's interesting to me.
Well, that dude is very athletic. I'll give that to him.
I know, that was crazy.
High quality film with twists.
No.
Good film, twists interesting.
No. This is
Our
scary.
brain GPT research is about decoding information from the brain without invasive technology. This will redefine the technologies we see today.
Not
By
invasive,
connecting our
right?
multitask EEG encoder with large language models, our brain has struck a major breakthrough in decoding coherent and readable sentences from EEG signals.
Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I'll start with a cappuccino, please, with an extra shot of espresso.
To capture information directly from raw EEG waves, we
I don't know.
designed an encoder to process waveform
Is this a
EEG
Chinese?
signals. After
It's
training,
Chinese, though?
this encoder allows more convenient decoding of EEG signals without the need for eye-tracking devices or pre-processing processes.
I don't know. I don't know if I trust it. I don't know if
I was about to say,
this could be one of those things. This could be one of those fake shit. That's fake
Yeah,
things.
is that second
Yes,
sources
I'd
and
like
shit?
a bowl of chicken soup, please.
I mean, how easy would this be fake? I could make this video myself. I don't know. This isn't showing me any evidence that this is really translating someone's thoughts.
Yes, a bowl of beef soup.
It's a
Why would it
huge
be about
claim.
soup?
I would need, yes, very good. It's a huge claim. I would
The
need
fairy
more.
tale was filled with magical adventures in a charming,
Yeah, no, I
enchanted
don't
forest.
buy this.
He
Like,
didn't
why-
sit
why
up
the-
and
why
think
the
of
hell-
these
Why the hell would he be
phrases.
thinking that?
Right.
Why
I
the
would
hell would he
agree.
be thinking that for the thing? I don't believe it. I
The
don't buy
fairy
it.
tale had
They're
lots of
leaving
magic
something
games,
out, and that
journey,
makes me think they
forest
intentionally
magic.
want to deceive us, which
I think this is kind of like the battery thing from earlier last year and stuff like that, where like it's a proof of concept type thing where they're literally they're doing it as an example of what they think their technology can do, and yet without
yes, I
unless there's
understand.
some data
Here's
that
your
actually can
source. You
show.
can look it up yourself.
Yes,
and
yes,
verify.
yes. I'm looking right now. Just developed D-Wave and AI
Oh,
generation.
D-Wave. Microsoft look, this guy on Twitter, Rowan Chiang, he has a whole thread on it.
I'm not at Twitter. I want to get a screenshot. Well, I'll try to remember D-Wave.
That was just one little video. This whole thread collects all the latest developments in AI. I will post it in the chat.
Here's my two thoughts really quick. Because I'm probably going to jump off in a second. Here's my two thoughts on this. Either A, it's real and people are not saying like the dude from Jurassic Park, you're so busy worrying what you can do, you're not considering what you should do. That's number one. Number two, I would say, whether it's real or not, the fact that we think that something like this can exist or does exist will also lead us to censor ourselves because we're concerned about.
How do you censor your thoughts?
It's just like this. Like when we go online and we censor ourselves because we know that we have to go between certain guidelines, which you can argue may be good or bad. Think about the last 3 or 4 years, right? Like you can't really be skeptical of certain things because the act of being skeptical, you are deplatformed, right? So it's kind of like it's going to lead to self-censorship, whether it's true or not.
Skepticism happens in your brain. Nobody can control if you're skeptical. It's when you express. You're talking about the expression of skepticism.
Well, if you have a house, a mortgage, a car, or whatever, and you go to work and they say you're going to get this procedure done, or you don't have a job and you're not paying your rent,
Nobody's saying that.
No, that's where it goes undoubtedly. That it will have to
But
go
yeah,
there
I
mean,
don't.
for
I
the
don't
I
believe
could
that.
see
I
it
safety
don't
of
going
believe
that way.
someone.
employers are going to make you hook your brain up to a machine and monitor your thoughts.
For
I
the
mean,
Well, I was
safety.
referring to the last
no,
4
no, no,
years,
no,
but
no.
yeah.
Actually, Jeff, I'll take you that there's technology right now for people that work at home. They're talking. They're hooking up. They have this technology right now. This was in the news. This was on CNN, where certain work at home employers are in these like little brain things that you have to stick in your head that ensure that you're actually that because they can't really see what you're doing. They can't legally like put cameras, so they're going to make you like wear these things that monitor at least like not your specific thoughts. They can't read your thoughts,
So,
but they can tell
well,
whether
they
you're not you're
can.
focused on your task and
Yes,
whether or
what
not.
wave
We
you're
have a
on and
source. So
shit.
you don't
Yeah.
believe this video where they can actually read your thought, even though it's all over the news. I just
No,
googled.
no,
But
no.
you
I'm not saying I don't believe it. I
show me
want to
the source.
verify
Show
it.
me
I
the
wouldn't
source
repeat
for
it.
your claim, because I
Okay, let me
posted
let
the
me let me get
thread.
it right now. Let me
It
get it.
has all the sources. I just looked up the D-Wave AI system. It is being reported on major news sites.
Yeah, I know. I think that
So
but so is the
I
battery thing
appreciate the
though.
skepticism and I support it because I think that's part of critical thinking. But even skepticism should be founded on a reason to be skeptical.
Well, first of all, he has a great reason, but I'm going to go with you, Jeff. Let's go with it is real. Uh, One of you was saying that if we had enough energy, I think that was what's his face, Neurojack. But assuming we do, and because I've heard we have unlimited energy sources, is what they're showing us now, where they can do this. Then the technology, they're always 30 years ahead in technology. Considering they have enough energy, quantum computing, the technology, the shit that they could do now and are doing now would be far ahead than anything I've ever would have considered. They'd literally be reading your thoughts by now. They'd be able to pull up in a Jeep, damn it, somewhere and read your
Well,
fucking thoughts.
that might be coming. It looked like it was the experimental phase, but I've said this year, 2024, is going to be the year of the future. By the end of this year, there's going to be so much shit we're not even going to imagine right now in January.
Of
I'm
course.
trying to find the long version of this video.
Yeah. You should play the one on my channel. It's a short.
Are you on Twitter?
Oh no, no,
You
no.
talking about the Vegas one?
Uh,
Joe don't know nothing.
I put a short of the guy behind some music behind the short of the guy jumping over the judge today. It's on YouTube though. Yeah, it's funny.
Now, Joe, you realize that bench was shorter than the nominal judge's bench.
I hadn't noticed the height of the bench and all of that, but I still give him props. He barely even
They
touched
had it
that
Oh,
earlier,
I'm
motherfucker.
but when I
telling
watched,
you, he launched.
well, let me. I'll take some time to find the full video because I did watch it earlier. It was like over a minute long. And
I
my
didn't.
favorite part was the little Japanese guy in front, just calmly looking around. It was all going on,
Oh
and they
yeah,
had
yeah,
some
yeah,
lady
yeah,
like
yeah,
praying to Jesus, like God,
yeah.
please come down and make this all right.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro. They say his skin was coming off. I don't know if y'all listened to it like I did. They said something about the guy, his skin was hanging off. I don't know what they did to him, but it must have been really bad.
Well, this is Oh, they have the front view now. This is like emotional regulation. He I could help him with this.
Who say he's wrong?
I'm trying. For some reason, my internet's going super slow. I'm trying to pull up something to try to find this thing. I mean, this is just earlier last year, and like it didn't. And so I'm not. I am. This was not like a conspiracy site or something like this. They were talking about this technology that they're working on, where lately like the
Was it here in the
employees.
U.S.?
Yeah, in the U.S., employees they were working on this technology where they would put these like little brain, kind of like the things they put on you in like the hospital, like that. These little like
Yeah, but that
things
doesn't
that you
Yeah.
mean
stick
it's
in your
going
head.
to actually get implemented. That employers are going to go for that. I mean, employees
No,
are
but
going to
I'm
go
just
for
saying
that.
that
I
the
wouldn't.
technology exists and it's being funded by companies that want to ensure that you're doing your job or whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't have doubted that. It wouldn't be difficult. When you focus, you go to a different alpha, beta, gamma, delta, whatever fucking wave. They just measure that. I'm sure it's quite easy to put one of those on your head. That wouldn't have been hard to fathom. You don't smell nothing fishy about that AI the way it was presented. I remember when physicists came up, they discovered something about an upside down universe, and every mainstream person reported it, mainstream media, as there's a universe out there that's going upside down somewhere, and everybody's repeating this to me. And when I looked at it myself, no, they discovered a particle where within the particle they go up as opposed to down as gravity. They go in the opposite direction. Something's going on with this. I don't believe that that guy was sitting there thinking on his own those things. Uh, Something's to it. If you're telling me it's being reported everywhere, something's to it. But why did they intentionally try to mislead me right there?
Well, you don't know that they did. He could really
No
have that.
way that dude sat up there and he's
That's
that.
your own skepticism, but you don't know if that's reality
Yeah.
based.
All right. This is true. I'm being prejudiced. I'm sitting there
Because I don't
thinking
know.
he's
I'd
looked
have to
like a.
read the details of the.
I was being on some prejudice shit. I was thinking he looks too cool to be thinking I would desire a cup of cappuccino. I would think he hasn't had that thought fucking, ever. He seems more street and laid back. That's why I say there's more to it.
Well, I can't find the full video, but the most I could find is this 48-second one. So let's just watch this one.
All right.
They have it on YouTube, but it's hey, somewhere in time. But it's from the news. Like I don't want to get copyright struck. So
Yeah.
let's watch whatever this version is. The flag fell down. Yes, that little
Yeah.
Japanese flag.
Watch your ears when the alarm goes off.
Get off it. Oh, man, you're good. You're good. Stop. Don't do this. Hey, what's Mary Pat? Is she okay?
The other video I watched had the beginning of it, where
Yeah.
she's actually laying down the sentence. She's like,
They
I can't
got.
let that out on the street. And he says like something like, bitch, what you talking about, bitch? And he jumps the wall.
I saw a
desk.
longer version, I think, on Reddit today, where it has him and his lawyer giving an argument first. Most of them start with her saying, "Yeah, I hear you, but I think he deserves more." But it has the volume is low, but it has him back there with his lawyer, and his lawyer is saying why he should get this and why he should get that, and then it cuts to her saying what she said.
All right, Chris, what you got for us?
Yeah,
Hey guys, if my background noise is too bad,
this isn't the same.
Oh
the
no,
same
I don't
article,
even
but
notice it.
this isn't the
Okay.
same article. But this is
Okay,
one,
right
this
now
is
I
the
can tell you
same
right
thing.
now, I am not wearing one of those outfits.
I'm not either, but I'm
Nobody's
saying that this exists. I'm saying that the technology exists.
Just
It's a
for
brain
fashion
scanning
reasons
helmet.
alone.
It's a brain scanning like suit and helmet that makes sure that you're focused on your work.
I want to clear something up. I'm not saying the technology's not out there. I'm talking about the vision that this is going to be realistically implemented in some kind of science fiction dystopian scenario.
I'm not sure
So
why you would
people's
think
brains
it's
are jumping
would
from the
not.
technology to how they vision the world's going to be like with the technology. That I'm questioning the vision of the implementation of it, not that it exists. I'm sure all of this
Okay.
shit exists more.
Okay,
Including a
I
little
got you,
brain
and
wave
that's
thing.
valid. Humans, we rarely get it
Okay, but listen to what this
right.
says. With a smart cap fatigue monitoring, a hat filled with EEG monitoring to detect signs of sleepiness in long haul drivers and other jobs which are being alert for crucial safety. The lifeband portion of the smart cap detects micro sleep now. If the smart cap is in use at the government-run Mining Industry Association, New South Wales Mineral Council in Australia, and construction engineering. It plays to me the same fears that truckers in the U.S. have regarding ELDs, with the concerns of the intent to force them to live by the rules of the machine, than their experience, and provide their bosses a full picture of their movements and whether or not they're taking scheduled breaks.
Yeah, that's
Since
part
trucks
of it.
function as homes for drivers, some truckers seem to be monitoring the job as an invasion of their privacy during off hours. Now, this one is for truckers. That's what it's been like, And then there's another one up here, I think, but I don't
It's
know.
interesting. The cap tells them if you're getting sleepy or not. That's
yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's like, but there's another one too. And there's this like this one, a Wisconsin-based vending machine supplier, over 80 employees had an RFID microchip inserted into their hands voluntarily. They can use to swiping at work, signing their desktops, and it's but wholesome Midwest. And this is from PC Magazine, by the way. This is not from like some crazy source. They can also use this to monitor. If you read the rest of it, you can see that how they can use it to monitor in other ways too. That's all I'm saying. I'm not.
Give us the meat of it.
Here, I'll give you the meat of that one right there in particular.
Right now is a finger with a little.
Here, that one right there. It's a computer chip. That's the same like in one in your credit card. They implant it and imprint it in your hand. And they have what they call chip parties, and you're allowed to skip work, and they put a little money on the chip for you, and you all go and they put the chip in, and you can go to the vending machine and spend the $10-20 they gave you, and just by putting your hand in front of it. And in fact, in Japan, it's like tattoos to the kids. Like tattoos are supposed to be hip. The chips are hip to them. So they're running out and getting them in Japan. And this is like year and a half, 2 years ago news.
Yeah, and this
article people
itself
want
is a
to
couple
do
years
it
old.
voluntarily. That's fine. I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna stick my dollar.
Well, yeah. I mean, until it becomes mandatory, right? That's the issue.
But I think doomers and people that have a propensity to fear technology or see it in the most negative light possible are going to take stories like this, and they're going to start using their writer's brain and create all these dystopian narratives and try to convince us that's what's coming.
I mean, I agree. I agree that it's not a guarantee
right
that
now,
guarantees. I'm not saying that the guarantee.
It goes from I don't believe that's real. They didn't really create that to but they created all this other stuff, and look how horrible life's going to be when they start rolling this out.
They're not in contradiction. The way they presented that made a motherfucker think it was bogus. I was buying it and all of that shit. I was ready to accept it, but the way they had the dude over there look like he fucking do hip hop, talking about he wanted cappuccino. Fair
enough, because some of the dialogue was kind of corny, like fairyland is this magical world, whatever.
No way. I don't know. Something was up.
Why is he thinking that?
Right. He was thinking the same shit. I'm thinking
like the source looked legitimate. The person that was tweeting it looked credible. And I Googled it, and it's being reported by major news sites as well. So that
I will be when I get off of here,
believe a little bit. Not to mention it's not out of the realm of imagination that it's only a matter of time before they do create that.
It's so scary to me that they can do that.
Somewhere in time, I have no idea what you're talking about. You say I refer to the people that understand the old world tech are crazy. I don't remember saying anything like that. But if you feel free to come on the panel and explain what you mean, because I don't remember saying that. And I'm not saying that I didn't. I don't know.
What am I missing? Where are you looking?
Somewhere in time, like her first comment up here. Just look a little bit far back.
Good day, Jeff and panel.
People I come in peace of the bone depict a week with Chris on TML at 6:30:40. I have to go look at the video.
Well, we could watch it. I don't remember, but we could pull it up.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on. Y'all read the comments. I didn't. Tell me what's going on. You guys are caught up. I'm not.
Jeff or Chris? Jeff, you guys were on the show last night. Do you remember that I called Jack any kind of names?
Good chance.
No.
What is that? What
you definitely challenged him, but you didn't call him any names. No.
Okay, I was just trying to clear my head because he got into all these ad hominems on me, and I was trying to clarify whether I called him any names or not.
Chuck, do you think it's merely because you challenge him? I am interested if that is
Jack
the reason he hates you so much.
He doesn't handle challenge well. I did notice that.
That's what it is, because whenever what I call double speak, I call him out on it, because if you're saying one thing but turn around and doing something else, well, that don't bode well.
That's what Socrates said, or Aristotle, in that dialogue. Let me find the part.
That's crazy.
Man, I knew I was old. I didn't know I was that old.
Are you pulling up the TML thing? I'm going to pull it up if you're not pulling it up right now.
No, I have it. I have it queued up. I'm just trying to
Okay.
find that.
It was a long piece.
What is
Well, Joe,
part of
you
the
have the
dialogue.
same
We
effect
talked
on
about
him.
that.
no, Jack? Yes, I do. I do. He don't like me. He's nicer to me, but I'm a nice guy. I'm probably nicer than you are.
I'm
He
not an
tolerates.
asshole.
He
Yeah,
tolerates.
this part, not how knowledge is the foundation of community, and it says through dialogue, through constant questioning and examination of ourselves and society. That came from Socrates, the AI version, and
Very
that's
good.
what Chuck was saying. Like he was just trying to, when he hears Jack say things that he don't like contradict or that's in
Contradictory.
dissonance,
I hear you.
he's questioning it and examining it,
Yeah.
Because
and
I
that
really
is
want to know the
healthy for
truth.
community, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I welcome people questioning my ideas. If people question my ideas, I
too.
welcome it because it sharpens my. If I can't defend my ideas when I'm questioned, then my ideas aren't that good. And
Yes, man.
I need to get better at. I need to have better ideas. If my
I,
ideas can
right.
be if my ideas can be dismantled by someone asking a question of them, it's either one of two things. Either something that I already know is like questionable and like I might believe it on some sort of faith type
Well, you're
type
gonna
thing.
have the chance to do that right now because somewhere
Okay.
is
Okay.
questioning you. So let's see
Yeah,
the
no,
clip.
yeah, absolutely. I welcome it. That's what I want to know.
And I
I
look
don't remember everything I said. So
and
What
I look
evidence
at
are we looking for right here? So I know what we're looking for.
It's something that somewhere has a question. Chris said on Machine Stream last night, and I don't
Okay.
know the part she's talking about. So we're gonna play it.
All right.
and real quick, one of the things that I look at is if a person gets angry, well, that's
Yeah.
exposing something.
Yeah, you're close. Yeah, you're
Maybe, but
close.
there could be other reasons why
Okay.
people get
He's
All
offended.
right,
right. There could.
I'll mute so you can play.
All right.
or whatever. But we don't. I don't have any. We don't have any proof of that. We have. There's a bunch of crazy people that claim it. But I
Well,
mean, like if you read a lot of the other stuff they say, like it doesn't.
Let's see what the context
Key
is.
step Yeah. there. The key step is trying to find ways that we can create small, intelligent, close knit communities that actually believe these things, and then like let that grow and let that fire, that little match burn into a bigger flame and create and light a candle and then light it and then like a bonfire and so on and so forth. Without that kind of grassroots activity, I don't see any of those like pie in the sky ideas like really ever taking root. I wish they would, but I just feel like it's not practical to think that they would, and without literal intervention from God or miracle technology that takes away all need in the world.
I hope it wasn't that because I agree with everything. Oh, okay.
And I think they're going to happen.
Well, I mean, like if you're available,
God,
they're not available to us, though. They're not available to us, though.
Well, it's closer than we think. I really do believe there is something there. We will be experiencing something, I think, sooner than the agendas, because the goal is, I think the idea will be to interrupt the agendas.
Far back. Hang on.
That's.
But I think they're talking about
figure out how to make these cars run on water.
We have.
I mean, they've been trying to for ages.
They're more expensive.
You guys, obviously, there's some kind of manipulation going on. You know.
I mean, maybe the technology is being suppressed. Maybe it exists and it's being suppressed by the oil industry or whatever. But we don't have any proof of that. There's a bunch of crazy people that claim it. But I mean, like if you read a lot of the other stuff they say, like it doesn't seem to match up with reality.
I see what you're saying.
Anybody tried assembling a team for the 10-year project to try.
It's a bunch of crazy people claiming that a certain technology exists.
Yeah,
and in that example, it was like cars that run on water.
Which I'm once again like
I believing. So, like everyone has their own version of what technology is and is not out there, or is possible and not possible.
Agree.
And people always
I'm not angry.
That's crazy
to
think that technology is out there, but I think this technology is out there. Well, I think you're crazy for thinking.
I like it.
Everybody. None of us fucking know.
What's out there. None of us know. Right?
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I was saying it might be suppressed
because we don't know in like the lab, deep underground in the lab, what they're coming up with. It's not going to trickle out till years later.
All right. So what were you saying, Chris? That they thought you were saying wrong. Well, you were given a specific
I
type
was
of
saying
technology.
I've seen videos of people talking about that technology that were people that coming from people that were otherwise I would say or seem like delusional. Like that we talk about a lot of other things like orgone.
Specifically water and
The same.
cars.
Yeah, like so talk about like the water engine stuff like that. Same people that talk about
Yeah.
orgone generators and stuff like that. I've seen videos like that. I'm not saying that that's the only people that talk about it. I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of videos, some of the more high or ones that show up my algorithm that have been from people that I would not qualify as being particularly sane sounding. Even though I do think that that technology could exist, it could be out there.
What about
I
the
just haven't
car?
seen any
We're
evidence of it.
throwing that out. The car that ran on water, where it's saying that's iffy. I thought that was solid information. I thought that was real.
No,
It's not.
no. I haven't found any truth to that one
Yeah,
myself.
I've looked for it myself. I mean, and I mean, and I'm willing to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we have cars that can run on water and that they're just being like suppressed and the truth will come out. That would be great. That would be an amazing achievement for mankind.
I
I'm
saw
100%
so
for it.
much shit on that. I looked forward to shit all on the shit. He had driven it all over the place. Was having success, and then he plotted this really big trip. All and that was documented, at least in my fucking memory, from different places before the event that everybody talks about. I guess what everybody talks about, he planned to drive it across country on like a couple liters of gas or something. I don't know if he did or didn't. Then he had a meeting with the people who were gonna. I heard this every fucking where, who were gonna sign the deal and sign the papers. Even his brother says it apparently. Uh, and he fell out the restaurant. His brother was late getting there. He fell in his brother's arms, and he says they poisoned me. And then the car sits in his garage for 30 days, and it disappeared. At least this is what I'm hearing. Everywhere I go, it's the same fucking story. Everywhere I
I've
look.
heard that story before too. I mean, but like there's very little evidence of it that I've ever seen that actually proves that that's a true story. Now,
Look, look,
I'm not saying it's not a true story. It might be a true story.
go to like what he was doing before that great story they tell where the brother dies in his arms
Mm.
shit. Because that was the most convincing shit I found, is that they said he had been doing this for years and blah blah. That was the most trail of evidence, and he had I thought it was just one thing. He come out the blue. Apparently, he'd been doing this for a while.
Well, it's
Listen,
like that
Once
that
again, I'm
lady
welcome.
from Theorem.
I'm open to being wrong. I am open to being like
so am
if
I.
I if somebody shows me like evidence of the to the contrary, I will 100% change my tune on that. I have zero issue.
Same,
I
same.
have zero issue changing my mind on anything because that's essentially what I look to do. I'm always looking to enlighten myself with new information and
Yes.
become more knowledgeable
Like
about
that
things. So.
AI shit. I keep forgetting the name, but I am gonna look that up because that's real. I need to know that. I am gonna look that shit up on my own. Fuck that. I'm gonna go look for it.
Well, you got
Oh my,
Chuck, you're breaking up real bad. You sound like a robot right now, man. I can't understand what you're saying.
yeah, you're robot. R2D2. Yep, still bad.
Okay.
Okay.
And while we're waiting on that, Jack, how about Bob Lazar? Bob Lazar is a real enigma because, like, I mean, like on one hand, I see like he has very little. It seems like he's gained very little from his claims, and therefore, like that makes that does make him that it makes him seem a lot more credible in a lot of ways. And a lot of things he says don't sound that far off from possible, the possibility of reality. But we once again all we have is his word to go on. And I think there's nothing wrong with actually like, taking someone's word on it. I don't know the guy. I don't know how credible he is otherwise, but I mean, I think Bob Lazar is a fascinating character and a fascinating person, and he really does have a lot of like credentials and stuff that definitely give a lot of credibility to his story. But I'm certainly not I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore Bob Lazar doubter. Just like I'm not necessarily a hardcore doubter of the water car thing. I just haven't seen the evidence of it that would absolutely convince me that it's absolutely true. But I think, but I would lean more towards believing Bob Lazar than I would be not believing Bob Lazar.
Where do you fall, Jeff? On Bob Lazar.
What's the question?
What do you think about Bob Lazar?
What y'all talking about? I don't even know
We
who that
were.
is. I just looked him up. I have no
Oh,
clue who this person is. They
Oh,
said
I
he's a
thought.
conspiracy theorist, so I
he's like
probably
the
don't
area.
think
He's
much
the
of.
well, that's what they say on Wikipedia. But he's a he was. I mean, he's been on Joe Rogan a few times and explained his story like really in detail. And he used to work for for the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He once put a jet engine on his car and shit like that. And that's what that got the attention of the government. He went to work at literally Area 51, and he claims that there at Area 51 he worked on like some sort of like alien type craft. He doesn't know exactly what. He doesn't know a lot
What
about it,
does he
but he
know?
just
Like, what am I supposed to think about him? Like,
there's a
what's his
lot.
position?
There's a lot of
No, no,
Controversial.
Bob
yeah, I
Lazar stuff.
thought that
There's a
he was
long,
giving
long.
his position to you because you guys had a conversation about him previously.
Yeah.
If you don't even know what he's talking about, you don't even have to
Yeah,
go
Oh
into it.
no,
it's
I've
a
never heard of
it's
him
a
until
rabbit
just
hole.
now.
It's a real rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I would recommend listening like the Joe Rogan
Yeah.
Oh,
one of
he
the Joe
just looks like
Rogan
some
episodes
white.
that he was on. Yeah, I mean, but the Joe Rogan episode that he went on, the first one where he actually explains the story, is actually a really good one because it's
My
very
sig.
yeah, you're saying, yeah, you're kind of breaking up.
Yeah, I'm getting the low bar signal.
Yeah. Bob Lazar here is probably some of the best evidence I found to believe him, best reason I found to believe him. He didn't say he worked on the spaceships, not to my knowledge, but he saw them
Yeah,
even
you saw them.
inside.
He was trying
And
he was
wait,
trying to
wait,
work
wait.
on some sort of engine thing, right? I'm
Yes,
just
he
trying.
was
I'm just
working on,
yeah,
yes, no, you're right. He was working on an energy source, yeah. And they
yeah,
didn't understand why it did what they did. And he was replacing a guy who died. He said when he got in there, what happened to dude? He died working on this same device. He say what they do with this particular shit, they would shelve it and have motherfuckers come back and look at it. They could not figure out. They knew what it did, but they couldn't figure out why. And they asked him, what do you think he did with that? Now he's like, shit, I think that ain't the only one. He said, I assume they have more of this shit. And if they can't figure it out, they shelve it, but they got other shit that they're working on.
yeah. I mean, he sounds very credible when you listen to him talk. He does not sound like a crazy person. He sounds
No.
very, and he is he is a very educated man, and he has not benefited financially, as far as I can tell, from. If anything, he's actually lost quite a bit by talking about this stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
all those things do kind of point to like something being like something to it. But I mean, I
Throw
don't
in
know.
that they
Yeah,
erased him. They said that he's never worked for them. He's never worked for whatever company he did. He never went to the college. They say he's never done any of that shit. Uh, and they came back and it was all in the newspaper that he's a hoax. He's never done that shit. And then they came back and found pictures of him and all of them in
yeah,
yearbooks and other people's pictures at the job, newspaper articles where they're
yeah,
writing
exactly.
about him
Yeah,
from the job, shit like that.
yeah, yeah.
But they erased him, but they left shit in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, they did. They tried to like like shut him down like that and stuff like that. So I mean, like the fact there's pushback from people like that that would do that obviously does like point to something being going on there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but for all I know, he was like one of those people that's dosed LSD though. And it was like it was one of those kind of CIA things like which we all know that the CIA did that is dose people with LSD
Yes.
and like so. I mean, we don't know if it was real or if it was induced by something or whatever. But nonetheless, like I do think the guy has a lot of he comes across as very credible and
And it's in the
very
same
intelligent.
story. I saw him say the same
He's very
story
humble
20,
too.
30
Very humble.
years ago or something.
Oh,
It
his
is the
story has
same
not
story he
changed.
told
He
way
has
back
not
then.
changed his story one
Uh,
bit. His story has been exactly as it is consistent as I mean to the point almost to the point where his consistency would almost makes me feel a little bit more unsure about it just because of the fact that almost no one's that consistent even when it's something's true. Like I mean his story is
right,
so
right,
consistent it's almost like
right.
damn like it'd
Yeah.
be hard for me to keep the
If
same
he
even the
wasn't,
same true story consistent for 30
yeah,
years. It'd be hard for
if
me to
he
do that. So
wasn't the nerdy type, that's why he sells it too, because he is a egghead type and all of that stuff. He speaks egghead language and Elon Musk concentration shit, lacks in social skills, what he makes up for in that weird way. So you bite at that shit. Oh fuck, I'm not even got my phone plugged up.
Aren't I?
Can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Chuck,
I didn't know
you're
you were
good
trying
now.
to talk,
Yeah,
but now we can.
Well,
whenever you stepped away, his voice got robotic, so you had to restart.
I'm in the hills of Tennessee, so I don't care.
Oh,
But you
now you
guys
are
remember that
robotic.
lady from there, bro?
You're going robot again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I could hear you just fine whenever you started, but it started getting all like broken
I'm
up. Like
laughing, Chuck, because I'm making up shit in my head from your robotics. You were saying something about Shalice staring in my head and something.
oh
I
no,
was.
Chuck's an AI. Chuck's an AI. He's glitching out.
All this new technology, you think they could at least create some connections at work?
I've got to look
Yeah.
into that,
Hey,
man.
Jack, I mean, Chuck, you're not even on camera. How can we know that it's the real Chuck? How we know this isn't like robot Chuck? I'm just kidding,
Let me
man, dude.
ask.
I'm joking. I didn't really think that. I'm just teasing, playing around, dude.
What is Neuralink? Now, is it Neuralink? Yeah, Neuralink, the one that go in your head. What is that,
Yeah,
guys? What
Neuralink,
is it? Yeah,
the
Oh,
Elon Musk
isn't
thing.
that Elon Musk's thing?
it
Yeah.
is.
That's
What do
So
you?
it's
What
something
kind
is
of
that's
it?
like
implanted behind your ears, pretty
NeuroJack.
much.
What's
Yeah.
it do?
Oh,
I'm gonna
I
dig it
mean,
up.
they're very
A
vague.
company that
Supposedly, it's
aims to create a generalized brain computer. It lets your brain interface with a computer, so you won't have to type or use a mouse. You can just think it into the computer.
and itself it would be a computer where you could like basically download. You could like say you could basically do a web search in your mind and get the information downloaded straight into your brain. That's the ultimate goal. Is for it to be like something that would
How far
an
has it
intelligence
progressed?
enhancer that would allow us to compete with AI. Is what
That's a
Elon Musk
lot of
pitched for.
technology just to replace a mouse. I could just do this. It's not that hard to just do that.
Well, I mean, if you could just, but think about it. If you could just think, like when we talk about Bob Lazar, like if you could
And
just
what
be
about
like, oh yeah,
ADHD
who's
people
Bob
who are
Lazar,
thinking
and
10 different things
suddenly you
at
know everything
once?
about Bob Lazar. What?
What about ADHD people that think 10 different things at once? How is it going to know what? Like
I've
their
wondered that
thoughts switch
myself.
from every half a second. How is it going to
I
keep
have
up with what they
wondered that
try to do on the
myself.
computer? Considering this technology is most likely being developed by people who are ADHD in the first place.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I've
you
always see
guys.
that's been my question about psychics. My whole every time I've heard about psychic, I was like, yeah, if if a psychic tried to read my thoughts, they would not get clear a clear picture of what I was thinking. They would get like the most jumbled collection
You would
of
jam their signals.
randomness and just like bullshit that it would probably break the psychic's brain if they could actually read my mind. So like that's the reason I don't believe in psychics in general. I do think you could maybe be I think it's maybe possible to be an empath to a degree where you could kind of read people to some degree. You know, you can
Yeah,
kind of
I've
read
had
like what
that,
they're
like
yeah.
intuition and
How far
mirror neuron.
have they gotten on Neuralink? That's what I wanted to ask you guys. How
Oh,
far
well,
have
let
they
me
gotten
see.
as far as you
I
know?
heard they were implanting it in monkeys at one point, but then I haven't heard anything. That was like 2 years ago. So, and like I'm guessing it hasn't gone that well. I think that if it had
My
been going really
connection
well,
is
they would
so
have heard about it.
That's about to my understanding too, by the way.
They're doing clinical trials.
On
Their
Uh-oh.
humans?
website. You can sign up,
On
Joe, if
humans?
you want.
Right? I'm like you on humans?
Neuralink clinical trial. Let me see. We invite you to participate in the PRIME study. It's all caps. A groundbreaking investigational medical device clinical trial for our first brain-computer interface.
Oh my
They have a whole
God.
brochure on it.
Oh
Get in
my
touch. They
God.
even
They
have a
put this
QR
in the
code you can
flag.
scan.
Hey, Chris, last week I was talking to this guy. I was saying they were going to put a computer chip in your head and they was trying it. I think his name was Jeff, and he was saying, man, that's a fallacy. Why do you think about crazy stuff like that? How do you know what technology they're going to put in your head? Looks like they put it in people's head, bro. What the fuck? It's crazy.
You're talking about Jeff here? You're talking about Jeff here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
He's clowning.
yes. I'm gonna be looking into that too. I don't want to
I'm not
believe
worried
it.
about it because I'm almost always right, and I have the streams to prove. Y'all could just rewind the stream a year from now and say, "See, he's saying it right there."
That's cool. You know, I mean, I hope that Neuralink is actually beneficial for mankind whenever, because apparently it's going to come out, and I hope that it actually doesn't have the ability to turn people into mindless robot slaves. I really do hope
Well,
that's not the
people
case.
are already like most people are already mindless robot.
That's true,
Like,
but
if you're not gonna have to turn people into something they already
yeah,
mostly
well,
are.
Neuralink isn't for them, Jeff. It's for people like us. That's the thing. It's not
Why
for
would
them.
I want Neuralink? Like I said, it takes me zero effort to like half a calorie even to wiggle a mouse. I don't need a whole multi-million-dollar computer.
Do you need
My way.
digital money? Do you need digital money?
I need real money.
That's what
The
I'm
kind you can
saying.
spend in the
You
world.
don't need digital money though, right?
Like crypto?
I was thinking like the central banking digital currency. Do you need
I
that?
don't know that. No,
That's
I
probably
need the
silly.
U.S. dollar that I could spend at the grocery store.
Well, they're going to get rid of your US dollar and they're bringing in some
Well, I
computer
have
shit.
a card. As long as I have a card, I could swipe. I'm fine. It doesn't have to be physical paper money.
Mm. Yeah, the way I was going though, they will take your computer mouse from you and make you use the chip. That's what I was trying to
No,
go.
I don't believe like Men in Black are going to barge in my house and say, "Give me your mouse."
No, they're not. No,
I don't
you're
believe
right. They won't.
I don't believe
They won't. They will start
the
calling
most
you a
that's
lot.
going to happen is the new computers that come out 10 years from now are going to have some different interface where you won't need a mouse or they
The
won't
new
sell a mouse with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or it's gonna be a
internet.
social shame campaign. It's gonna be a social shame campaign where
Well, that
you're gonna
doesn't work
call.
on me, so good luck. I'm still
It
going to
doesn't
use my
work on me
mouse.
either, but I'm saying, but it's gonna be one of those things where like they're gonna call you a luddite.
Why
They're
do
gonna say
y'all
like,
read too much science fiction or too much 1984 or something? Like there's a pattern to what your brain generates, and it's not based on anything.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make
Realistic.
sense that if they really want to push that technology, that I don't think it would
Who
be
is
mandatory.
they? Like
That it's
again, we're it's
okay.
like the little
The
people in
company,
like that video clip you
and the
showed us the
companies
other
that create
day.
Neuralink, that
Elon
create
Musk
Neuralink type
and
technology.
okay, so you imagine these people in the room tee-hee-heeing over what sinister uses they can put this technology to.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that, but what in a social sense, like it's gonna like divide people into like these two categories of people that have the chip and people that don't. Because if it actually does enhance your brain activity, if it actually makes you think better or faster, it's gonna put you in a class above the people that
The
don't
world is
have it.
already divided between people that have computers and like internet access and people that don't. And even in the computer world, you have people divided between Apple and Mac and all that stuff. So technology is always going to stratify
I
humanity in some
think
kind
he's
of
saying these things may occur. Doesn't mean they're necessary nefarity. We'll move on. We'll survive.
right. Are you worried about being left behind if you don't have the neural link?
I'm worried about being
I
left
have
behind
like
if I
what I
I
don't
get
know
mean,
it.
what else
it's
neural links get
possible.
that I can't already get from StreamYard,
I
Discord,
don't lay awake.
Zoom.
I don't lay awake fearing about it. But I think it's possible.
But
I mean,
even if like 90% of the planet has Neuralink, as long as I have people I can chat with on video and do the stuff I'm doing now, I'm gonna be fine. Like I have
That's
it.
dope. Very
Neuralink
good.
has it set in the
yeah. I mean,
expectations
based.
for me
Very
that I
good.
feel like I
Very
would
good.
I'm with
lack
you.
if I didn't
Very
have it.
good. Very
I mean,
good.
I'm with you. I'm just saying that that world could still exist. I mean, I'm not saying it will exist. I'm saying it could.
I don't. I think I think a lot of people need computer implants in their brain. It would probably help them and make the world a better place. So more power to them.
Yeah,
If they want
maybe
Neuralink,
so.
but
This is what scares
I
me
don't.
Have you seen
about
the
it.
movie
Look,
Gattaca? Have you seen the movie Gattaca?
I have. Yeah, got it. It's great for it. This is
Yeah,
what the
right. Like that. It's a very similar type situation we're talking about. Like where like like genetic engineering gets to a point where like kids that are born with like the genetic engineering have like this insane advantage over anyone that doesn't. And literally like in order to get anywhere, if you're not born with like those genetic modifications, then you're a second class citizen. That's what I'm saying. Like is a
We
possibility.
already
I'm not
have
saying
a hierarchy. Like we're always going to have hierarchies. We already
yeah
have kids
hierarchies,
that
but
are born
hierarchies
with more
based.
advantages than other people, whether it's in intelligence, whether it's wealth. We already have that. We already have some kids that are not going to be able to compete with other kids from the
here's
start.
what my fear. Here's my fear. What the Bible says, and this is me just on some bullshit here. But it says it will cause every man to get a mark in their right hand and in their forehead, without which you cannot buy and sell goods. And if you get this, you shall taste hell. I literally, for the last God knows how long, I've been saying that. They're gonna put a chip in your hand to read your medical shit, and it'll be work like a credit card. That's what you do with your money. Then dude comes along with this Neuralink, the shit to put in your head. It makes me think I cannot get them.
And
Period.
the hand chip already exists, by the way. The hand chip does exist.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it's not
It's
being
been used.
imposed. It's a product that people can like buy if they want. It's a It's a consumer good, like all the other technology we have. It's no one's coming into your house forcing you to have a chip.
No, they're not. They're not right now. I mean, it's not. It may never happen.
What technology? What have they forced us to do so far?
Well, so far they forced me to get ID, wear my seatbelt, not have a gun, or we just talking about technology
and a vaccine.
And that was I was going to, or we just talking about
you to have the vaccine. That was strictly voluntary.
No, it's not voluntary.
Not if you work for a certain company.
If they threaten your job and all of that shit, and you can't.
Company or not. I have the choice to work for companies that don't do that.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
I'm saying nobody in the men in black are not coming and forcing anyone to do any of this stuff.
That's not what I'm talking about. They don't use men in black type tactics for that sort of thing. They use pressure from things like your livelihood and stuff like that. If that's their desire, if that's what they want to do,
they already do it in Japan.
Maybe they have complete power over us. It's not done at the consent of the people. We're not the ones that are going to be making the laws and regulatory structures that are going to be using the implementation of this technology. They're just people.
We will be.
People at the top of the hierarchy, without our consent, are just going to say, "We've decided. Everyone gets chips now. Make it happen." The people are going to have no say in that process at all or influence.
No, the people will not only will the people.
Congress, it's not going to be reviewed by the Supreme Court. It's not going to be an executive order or a bill that the president can veto. It's just
it won't be anything like that at all. It won't be anything like that at all.
That is not the America I've lived in my entire life. I do not believe that
it will be done through the corporate sector.
I think. Listen, Jeff. I think we agree. I certainly agree with you. It will go through the proper processes, but it will happen. Right? It will go through the courts and all of that.
I think it'll go through the corporate sector.
Enough, they don't want it. It won't happen. I personally think it's going to be voluntary, and people may be incentivized to adopt new technologies, just like they have with every other piece of technology. And there will be some that do and some that don't. There's people in Louisiana, they don't even use computers. Like they're still living in the pre-computer age, and their life is fine. They have their little circle of friends. They do their thing. Like not everybody has to adopt the latest technology. It doesn't mean it's this sinister conspiracy to like mind control the masses.
Well, I'm not making any jumps. I'm just talking about things as they
are. I'm not talking about a sinister conspiracy either. I'm saying that. But like if what I think it'll start with corporations. Like they'll say in order for instead of giving you an employee badge, they're going to put like a chip in your hand or something like that, and that chip will also be
maybe if employees consent to that in the first. That's kind of extreme to me. Like if you want to work at this company,
you have to consent to it to get the job.
We have to see what the employee. Well, we have to see how enough people are going to react to that first.
I mean, look.
That's what I'm saying. You're erasing human agency from this equation. If I was working at a company and they say you need a biochip, I have the option to say no and go find another company. If enough people do that, they have to rethink their plan.
But what if there are no other jobs?
But you're already assuming what's going to happen. Like people are just going to comply, and they have no agency or no say in the process.
I mean, but when your family's well-being is and your health care and everything is tied to your job, look at the pressure that puts on you.
People are going to balance that out with the need to get a chip, whether they want a chip in their brain or not. It's going to be like an ethical scenario they're going to have to play out for themselves. You're already assuming the conclusion to that.
I'm not assuming the conclusion for every person. I'm assuming that a lot of people will take the path of least resistance.
And see, I'm not making that. I don't have a reason to make that assumption.
But nature shows us.
Nature, technocrats want something to happen that it's going to happen. I don't ever make that assumption that technocrats always get their way and the masses are helpless.
I'm not sure we're saying the masses are helpless. I'm saying these guys are smart enough to make it look desirable. We will run to our slavery.
Yeah, but that's anything. That's marketing. That's been part of capitalist consumer society even before there was the technology we've had.
And I can't be
just
satisfied.
Another variation or iteration of that. That's just more of the same.
Of course it is. Yes, and I cry about the shit that they do now. The government.
It's like electric cars, like trying to get people to switch to electric car. Eventually, yeah, maybe more people will be driving electric than not, but it's not. I don't see it as this big dystopian situation. That the technology, like newer technology, is gradually adopted over older technology.
I agree with all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
maybe people start using Neuralink to interface with their computer instead of a mouse and keyboard.
I
So
told you
what?
my problem was that I think I go to hell if I use that shit. And
But you'll have the option not to as well.
For what it's worth, Joe. I don't think you'll go to hell for it. I mean, I have my own views on the
Besides, I'll be
the
there. Like
revelations,
we'll have
but
we'll have a good old time. You won't be alone.
but I mean, it's supposedly it supposedly should enable things like brain to brain communication. Basically, basically psychic conversations, like what
you can
what we
do
see with
that
psychics
without
now.
technology. Fuck
I know,
that.
but
We'll do it without
I'm saying, but
technology.
supposedly it would
Fuck
allow you
that.
to like message like call somebody,
Yeah, fuck
just
that
with your
shit.
brain and just talk to
Oh,
them
like
directly.
what's that? Oh fuck, what's that comedy? Where she has the little like cell phone implant and she controls it with her teeth and she's like, oh excuse me, I gotta take this call, and she clicks her teeth and the call comes in and she's just talking. It was a hilarious movie and I can't think of which one it is right now.
I can't think which one those are there, but yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have to actually do the T thing. You would just think like answer, and it would answer the call. Supposedly, it would give you the ability to, like I said, like you'd be able to do a web search, like any kind of like I said, like we were talking about Bob Lazar earlier. If you thought like who's Bob Lazar in your brain, it would immediately download all Bob Lazar information like directly into your brain. You would just know everything about Bob Lazar suddenly, like Matrix, like in the Matrix.
Yeah, if
whenever
it
like they
works,
download all the
that sounds like a good thing, like a cool thing.
Yeah, it
But
sounds like
there's
a
got to
cool
be
thing.
some way to regulate it. Like people's brains are just going to be randomly downloading stuff and doing things
I
with
mean,
computers.
I don't necessarily
if you
believe it'll
don't
ever
give
work.
them the ability to regulate, like, turn it off and on when they need to.
I don't think
So people are
it's
going
ever
to
going to
have
work
control
the way
of
they're
it.
claiming. I don't think it'll ever work the way they're claiming. I think it's
Well,
going to work.
that's why they're doing these trials. They're not even going to roll it out if it doesn't work the way they're designing it to work. Like it's going to go through trials and process.
But what if it works just enough where people are intrigued by it enough to
Your
get
writer's
one?
brain can come up with any scenario. I'm just trying to like weed out the ones that are attached to something realistic.
You're
And
right, as
what's
brain.
like the
I
pleasure of
mean, that's true.
indulging in.
I know he's not wrong. I have a writer's brain.
I'm a writer,
I
and I think
imagine every scenario. I imagine every
I
possibly. I imagine the scenarios where it's a good thing too. Like honestly, when I first heard about Neuralink, I was like, hell yeah, put a chip in my brain. I want faster access to the internet.
yeah,
I want to be able to
yeah.
download information directly into my brainstem. I want that shit because that would be like that would be badass. Oh, I need to know how to fly this helicopter like the Matrix and like just be like download everything about how to fly a helicopter, fly the whole manual and everything in there. Not that I would be able to understand that information, but not that it would give me the actual skills, but that in theory you could learn all the knowledge. You could learn all
So
the
it's
wisdom
everything we
without
have
the
now,
understanding.
basically, with a few seconds shaved off.
Yep, that's it. Yep, same
Especially
shit.
with AI, like by the end, you can already do that. You can already ask the AI to tell you everything about helicopter, and it will give you that information. So we already basically have it. Neuralink will just speed up the interface by a few seconds.
Not by a few seconds, but you don't have to read it anymore.
This dream, you like tech utopia you're in. You're at the threshold of it right now, if not in the entry hall of it. You can already have all of that information.
I know, I'm saying, but it would speed it up a lot more in a few seconds because you wouldn't have to read the information. The information would just be in your brain suddenly. It would already have it. It would
we get that, but
it
you
would
see
be fully there, as though you had read
it's
it.
just like the
ago.
next update in technology. That's all.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
that's
just like
dumber because without reading, you're going to lose something cognitively.
No, I completely agree. I don't think the technology is going to work ultimately the way they want it to, which is kind of like I guess that's where I see the danger of it is that if it doesn't work the way they want it to, then they'll use it for some other reason.
If it doesn't work the way
I'll
they
be
want it to, they're
that
just going
guy.
to keep
I
working
think
on it until they get it to how they want it to work.
I think
I'm
the
not
way they
worried
want
about
it to
not.
work is nefarity. I assume nefarity at some point. Yeah, I'm going to go there and think of what could they do, because humans, especially the government, every tool that comes along, they use it in a nefarious way. I'm just trying to get ahead of them.
Like what?
Like for instance, the new central banking digital currency. That they're already abusing it. Already they give time limits to us. You're going to have to spend your money within 30, 60, 90 days or shit like that, or it evaporates. So there is no saving money. They're saying this this is how we're going to stimulate the economy. It's the paperwork's done. They already signed it and they're clapping. It's
This is the
happening.
first time I'm hearing of this, Joe. What's it called?
CBDC. They launched that.
It says it has been exploring the potential benefits and risk of a central bank digital currency. That's all it says so far.
Well, I don't know about that one article, but I saw Congress sign the papers.
The Federal Reserve site.
It's done. Congress signed the papers. No, I saw it on TV.
I do remember seeing the thing on TV about where they did sign the papers to at least start the process. I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know. It doesn't
3 months before that, they had started it, and I didn't even know about it. When they were signing their papers. It was the next step to it. Everything is in there. Everything should be in that article. I bet I read it.
They just signed the papers. Why is it not showing up in a search?
Well, which part? What'd you search for? What'd you search for?
CBDC.
Somewhere in time, you got a lot to say. Let's say, my lady.
Change your search parameters. Change your search parameters. Central Bacon CBDC. When does CBDC go into effect? Try that one.
And I could always ask the AI too.
Yeah.
Okay. The US dollar could go digital. Here's what you need to. Okay. This article says, and it's from September. Says central bank a long way from any decision on issuing whatever. And then the one after that, this is from Reuters, says a digital dollar is years away as U.S. Fed kicks issue to Congress.
Wait, it says years away?
Yeah, and that was from January of last year.
All right, that's close enough.
So we have moved beyond conceptual discussions, and we are now in the phase of experimentation. And this is from March of last year.
That's probably the signing shit I'm talking about. Then.
Yeah, because all I remember seeing with them signing anything was like they signed something to put into basically to put the process into actually developing it.
Yeah, I would have assumed it's years away, but it's happening.
And then Snopes says no executive order 14067. So maybe that's the one. It will not replace U.S. dollar with trackable something.
That didn't do nothing but absolutely give me 100% sure that it's sure. If I had any doubt, you telling me Snopes is saying that and that.
Executive Order 14067, ensuring responsible development of digital assets, was signed on March 9th, 2022.
There
it's an
we
executive
go.
order. And the aim is to develop digital assets in a responsible manner. It also addresses potential national security implications of cryptocurrencies.
Yes, I bet you that's it. I bet you in there as the CB. I'm guessing I could be wrong, but I'm guessing in that one. But by the way, that is insidious too because cryptocurrency was supposed to be like the Wild West. The government has started now where they're going to decide which crypto is valid and which ones will not be valid. The government will have that decision. That's what they're talking about there also.
Well, that's not how crypto works.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
It's not even bound by individual nations. I was involved. I did some podcasts on crypto a few years ago, and I was involved with this little group. We were working on crypto projects, so I know a little something about crypto, a little bit.
I have researched crypto so thoroughly, and I still don't fully understand it. To be honest,
I didn't either. I worked with this group for months, and we did podcasts all about crypto. I had a guy on there that was that was his jam, and I still understand.
I've never been able to find a single person.
I couldn't even figure out how to sign up for the exchange. I never did. They had to verify your ID or something, and I could never get past that process.
I have $25. I have $25 in Bitcoin right now. I don't even know where it came from, but I have.
I got frustrated with it, and when
technology is
frustrating for me, I don't fool with it.
I'm gonna Google something so you catch.
Well, Jeff, if we're gonna binge something, we need either binge Utopia or we need to binge Mr. Robot, at least the first 3 seasons, because they cover both of these specific things in terms of like a very realistic way of like way they could happen.
So
Very,
is that
very
where a
clear,
lot of
very
this is
clearly.
coming from? Is the
No.
fiction that you absorb?
No. I just when we were talking about it, Mr. Mind. They just show really really grounded depictions of. I mean, Mr. Robot's extremely until the 4th season is extremely grounded in reality. The 4th season just drops all that and just turns into a fucking bullshit cavalcade of like bullshit. But yeah, it's bad in the 1st season, but the first 3 seasons are really good. Especially just the 1st season really is all you really need to see, but the master plan behind it is to basically crash the U.S. economy in order so that the government has to issue a crypto coin, and then the crypto coin becomes like the default currency and sort of thing like that. I mean,
that's heavy.
it's really good. It's really, I mean, it's fiction, but it's really good. I mean, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's a good fictional show. It's a good it's a fun show to watch too. It's actually very entertaining.
I just Googled that central banking digital currency act, blah blah blah, September, whatever the fuck it is, and they're participating. Wells Fargo, so and so, PNBC, whatever, all these big banks are already doing it, participating in it. It looks like it's I don't know. They got the backing of the fucking support of the White House. The banks are in it. Looks like this is going to happen.
Okay, so there'll be a digital currency that people can use.
Well, they outlined that digital currency. Again, it has an expiration date. You know, if they say, yes, we're going to do it, it has an expiration date.
Part? I didn't see anything.
Very good. That. Expiration date on banking. Do that. Expiration date on central banking digital currency. That's exactly what I would have probably Googled when I was looking for it.
Binge on knowledge. Yeah. Well, like I said, like sometimes you got a lot of interesting things to say. I like to hear you. I'm kind of confused by some of your comments. So like I'd like you to come on and like explain them a little bit better, because I'm not sure I'm understanding everything you're saying in your comments. So please come on and like and give us the truth, man. You know, it's like give us the truth, lady.
Yeah, especially if it's some heavy conspiratorial shit. Damn it, I'm down with all that crazy shit.
I guess Neurojack just disappeared. He didn't even. He's not even.
He said he had to leave. No, he said he had to leave. Yeah. I'm guessing you found something by now, man. I'm sure.
The Federal Reserve site has a whole FAQ on it that I'm looking through.
Okay.
I don't see anything about an expiration date so far.
Yeah, I probably should go to the second site. They probably gonna bury it in that first site. Go to the second site.
Hey,
somewhere is that the one?
All right.
You want me to put the two of you?
Hey, I don't know if this works better. If I should plug my earphones in.
We can hear
you. Sound fine. You sound good.
Okay, I don't have my earphones in.
All right, no problem.
Hey, Joe Cool. I'm glad to meet you. I just love you.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I have a lot to say, because I've spent the last 8-7 years deep diving, and I understand a lot of people don't have that time to put in to the things that I was able to dig deep into, right? So I'm able to see. I followed the DARPA. I followed the WEF. I followed all of their clips. I saw their charts. I know what their agenda is. I know what their timeline is. And now they've pushed it up. They want it by 2028. So I understand where you're going, well, it's not for another few years. You have to understand they've already been at it. The plan for 7 years, which is the WEF on 2018. If you were to pull that up, just listen to Donald Trump's speech. He's in on it just like they all are. It's all one big team, and we're not in on it, okay? No matter how you want to look or feel or think you're going to vote, it's not going to change.
I don't believe
it's not going to change the momentum that these motherfuckers are on. So
Do you have
once we wake up
the
to that fact
instrumental?
that you're in a realm that is literally being ran right now worldwide, look what just happened in the last 3 years. Worldwide, fear porn up your you know what. If you didn't drink the Jim Jones, your churches were being shut down. You were maybe losing your job. Families were having arguments because some didn't agree. I have a daughter that's a doctor that's indoctrinated. Okay, she has a
I had
clinic.
family members
She
didn't want to hug
took
me
it,
during that
and
shit.
she is suffering neurologically and will be 33 this August 1st. That's my firstborn. Is it going to get biblical for me? Am I going to lose her like a lot of these other athletes, just dropping dead in their mid 30s after getting it, having myocarditis? My son didn't take it. So I got two examples here. My son didn't go to college. He's really open minded. He happens to be here right now, and that's why I didn't call in right away. He's going to get my granddaughter. So I'm waiting for him to get back, and I'm cooking dinner. And I'm loving the topic because this is
What you
what I'm all
cooking?
about. I'm doing a chicken with some potatoes and carrots, some asparagus, and broccoli.
Oh, that
Sounded
sounds so
good.
good. Love asparagus.
Yeah. Yeah, he likes to spice it up. He can do it. And I will do up the vegetables. So I'm just prepping right now. Yeah, I'm kind of fired up over the conversation
I
just because I
know it.
have, I mean, the patterns
Do
are
you
like
have
in
some of
my
the
head. You know what I mean? I don't even have to look at a piece of paper and I've got like dates and patents and all this stuff that flies around. And when someone gets on this subject, it's like rapid fire in my head. And I'm not
yeah.
attacking you, Chris Scott. I love you too. And I love Juniper and
No,
Lindsay.
yeah, no, I know you weren't attacking me. And listen, I welcome
Yeah,
the criticism. I didn't remember exactly what I had said, so that's why we won't even listen to it. And I want to make sure, I just make sure I was clear about the fact that I wasn't necessarily like insulting the ideas of the old tech. It's just that I hadn't seen the evidence that supported like that it was absolutely a real thing, and it wasn't another yet
That
another like
supported which
fraud.
part? That supported what?
The water car thing, but at the
Oh,
same
okay,
time,
the
I'm
water
not
car
saying
thing.
that I'm right. I'm not saying that I'm absolutely right. I'm just saying like I just hadn't seen it. So don't
gotcha.
take that as me saying like I'm just saying that
But then you said they were crazy
the
people.
places I saw people talking about it were from channels where people were also talking about like lizard people and aliens and stuff
I've
like that
seen it
that
there
was like
too. I've seen it there too.
Well,
Yeah.
they're basically jumping on a big stick, but it is a bloodline that they're referring to. Okay, so that's just going back to genetics, bloodlines, and incest, and keeping it like they're into some weird crap. So we don't need to go down that road. But yeah, some refer to them as blizzards.
What?
So I understand that, but I just with you, it was kind of a broad brush, and I happened to, I think, lay down just a couple things about tech, I think yesterday or the day before, and I thought maybe you were referring to anyone that is throwing out some of this stuff that's going on with DARPA and the knowledge of
no.
the patents or
I
something. I
was
thought you were doing
only
a broad
talking
brush.
about that one thing that Jack said. That was the only thing I was
Gotcha.
talking about.
That's all I
Hey,
was referring to.
let me ask Jeff a question. You guys can
Go for it.
answer until after he
Go.
answers first. Jeff, you think they're manipulating the weather?
No, who?
Jeff don't even believe in they, so should be
I know,
interesting.
like growing up back in the day, they had the things where you could see the clouds
I
sometimes
remember
to
cloud
make the
seeding.
rain
Yeah.
fall, stuff like that. But no, like who
Like
would be manipulating
chemtrails.
the weather?
You're seeing the chemtrail thing, like
No.
the
Yeah, I've heard the chemtrail thing. No, no.
What do you guys think? Are they manipulating the weather?
I don't know. I think they've tried. I think they've attempted to. I don't think they've ever been successful at doing
Okay,
it properly.
new rule. New rule. This is my first rule. My first hard rule I'm going to make on the show. And Socrates and Aristotle were talking about the values of laws and rules. From now on, when you say they, you have to say who the they
Who is
is.
that?
You'll use that
Okay.
word way too much. Identify your they.
I think the government has attempted to manipulate and control the weather. I do think that they have attempted to. I do not know that they've been successful
What
at any
makes you
rate.
think this? Where
Because
have they done
because there's actual evidence that there's actually
that?
declassified documents that they talk about
Good.
that.
I'm glad there's evidence. I love evidence. Let's see it.
Okay, I got one for you.
Wait, before you do all
I'm gonna
that,
have to go. I'm gonna have to go away a little bit so I can find it.
Don't go into no declassified shit. It's out there. They're very good at it. They do it. You can watch it on regular fucking shit now.
Yeah, I mean, if Chris has it, it's gotta be out there. It's
Yeah, you don't have to go looking for
all that's
declassified
show
shit.
me.
They do it and they talk about it openly now. It
Yep.
shouldn't be hard. Yeah.
And I'll give you the one that we just had this week, guys. And I'm not kidding you. When you saw Japan go off, I think 4 or 5 places, but one major, we had a tidal wave that hit in Ventura, I believe, California. That
Okay.
tidal wave was not natural, because if it was natural, it would pull back and suck up back into the ocean and then come in if it
Yeah.
was anything due to natural weather. This wave continued as a pulse. So something, and we are at WAR, we all know that, all around it's popping off. So something's going on, particularly possibly underwater warfare, right? We don't know. But whatever went off over in Japan sent the wave over to our coast in
Okay.
Ventura.
That's the way
So
it
go ahead.
works. You have
Go ahead.
a earthquake over there and the wave comes over here. The distinction you're saying is natural tidal waves pull back first and then they come. And you're saying this one did that not do that? That's what you're
Exactly,
saying?
Joe.
I looked up the tidal wave shit. I didn't even think to look over here. I looked it up in Japan. Every piece of footage I found was fake. All the tidal waves and shit that they had were from some of them were from
I'm seeing the
America. They
same
were all fake.
Social media posts falsely claim quake man-made. So again, it's how do we,
I don't know how reliable this link is. This is the first one that came up whenever I searched for it, but like we'll see what this says. I haven't read it all. I'm just gonna put it in the comments really fast. The website is like geoengineering.com or something like. I don't know if that's like. I don't know if it's a science blog or if it's just a conspiracy thing. I don't know yet. But there's more. There's a bunch of
our
search
best,
results. So.
all that stuff is
our best
important.
guy right now is on the inside, and government's kind of on him. It's Dutch Since. So it's spelled Dutch, SINCE. And he's breaking all the earthquake stuff down. But then he also spotted where the sparks were going off in Hawaii, and then also was able to go back. And they're kind of messing with his channel right now. He's got a big following, and people that are like in Italy and places, he's able to give a warning from his earthquake surveys that he does, because he follows the frequency of where it goes off and then the fault lines, and then gives warnings where it's going to pulsate the other place. And that's not what the weather people do, right? They'll just tell you like if there's a ding on their earthquake survey, and then they'll send out a warning. He will give it a week or two in advance and say, we're probably going to have something going off over here because we've had a friction here. And he follows the lines, and he has been like 90, I want to say like 90% accurate where it's going to go off. And he saved lives, and now the government's kind of on him. So his name is Dutch Since, and he's the one that's actually pulled up fire for the, like in Hawaii and Paradise and what you've heard about that. He was actually able to pull up sparks and see it on the radar as he's doing his earthquake survey. And once he did that, then the government's basically been on him to kind of shut up.
Okay, and like once again, my claim that I made was simply that the government has attempted weather manipulation, not that they've been successful, and that's what these articles from The Guardian and from CNN both report on.
I saw something about seeding clouds, which I already know
Yeah, I
about,
don't
and there's
listen to
something
any
called
legacy
HARP,
news
AKA
whatsoever. I don't listen to any legacy.
saying
Sorry, guys.
But those, I understand that.
Cloud seeding, I've already, that's been around forever, even when I was younger.
Yeah, I watched live tape of them speaking, which would be like WEF and Trump himself from his own mouth in 2018 being introduced by Klaus Schwab, and then all of his rallies in the last couple weeks really exonerating China and their model, and that we need to go with that. And the audience kind of gets a little bit quiet. You can actually sense that they are not liking the jive of what he's putting out there. So if you listen to just one of his rallies, he will touch on it. This has been progressing for the last couple years. And we're just kind of sitting here in place. The last couple of years, we've got the towers have been put up during lockdown, which those were put under contract for the electrical companies through our government. So now we basically live in a open prison, and those things connect to the phone. And through the phone, through the injection, they're able to put their QR code in. So now you're connected, your QR code, to the system that DARPA made, which I don't want to get your channel in trouble. I've texted it. You heard what the substance called. That has actually been patented back in 2014. So they've been on it for a minute. And those that volunteered, they were given the opportunity, right? This is what we're told. You were given the opportunity, but you were also coerced in the name of health. Well, you're going to get a donut because they care about your health? I mean, really, let's just get logic, right? That's has nothing to do with your health, or we'd start working on our food system and cure this diabetic situation, right? It's all about the pharmakia and the pharmacy. And this is the cure to all our needs, right? We're going to get that RX and everything's going to be good. This is where our society has declined into, and now they sit in front of their tube because they're too exhausted from a day's work because they've been pushed into the society where both parents are working, the children are being raised by the system, then they get home, they're exhausted, they probably get a fast food, and they're feeding their kids more plastic that's in the fast food or whatever the hell they got in it. They're not really doing home-cooked meals like I'm prepping right now for my granddaughter. And then they shove them off, the system's raising them, and they're so tired they get in front of the boob tube, listen to the legacy news that's rolling a tally alongside of the thing, just building the fear, building all these tallies of death. When in actuality, we have citizen journalists that were going into the hospitals. Even on my channel, if you go down to the very bottom, I think it's my first or second video, 2021, the heart of the pandemic. I'm the only one in there. The hallways are the emergency rooms. I've got it. It's on my channel. It's a bunch of bullshit. And the things that were taking them out were these ventilators. Because once you gave them the remdesivir, that was filling them up, that was clogging up their liver, that was making them retain water in their lungs, you do not give a ventilator to somebody that's inflating with fluid in their lungs. You blow them
You gotta
out.
be
So they
you gotta
killed
be
them.
careful, Jeff. You'll get shut down for medical misinformation. They're really
Oh, what do I
Yeah,
hard.
do
so
a
that's all
disclaimer? Hey,
allegedly.
YouTube, that was Somewhere's
That's
opinion.
allegedly. That's what they're
Does
saying out
not
there,
reflect
allegedly.
the views of this channel. Here's the
All
problem
right.
with all of this that's happening on these panels. It's a gossip channel. I heard this. I read this. Somebody told me I
No, no,
think
no, no,
this.
no,
There's
no, no.
no
Those
way
are your
to verify and go
statistics.
beyond gossip without authoritative sources, and that's what
Okay,
is
why don't you
lacking.
go and watch? We've flipped Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew's had on all of these doctors that were silenced. Some of them are passed and taken out, like 3 of them. These are the ones that did the blood testing
I'm not
after
talking
it
about
was
this
done.
issue in particular. I'm talking about every issue that comes up. It's just people passing on the latest gossip they heard from their sources.
Well, this is not gossip. This is literally information that went down the last 3 years. And if people don't want to look at it for the face value of what just happened to us as mankind
But
worldwide,
everyone's looking at different information and drawing their own conclusions from it. So that's why we're in the age of narrative. This is the post-truth age of narrative. And I'm trying to find a way out of this labyrinth, and it just keeps compounding itself with gossip
right?
on
Like
top of
my own family members would want to put me in somewhere because the government's telling them I'm a health risk, and my own daughter goes with it, and now is having neurological problems.
What are they saying you're a health risk?
My daughter has neurological problems. 32 years old and took 2, and now is suffering.
They're saying you're a health risk?
My daughter, no, I'm a pureblood. I do not comply. Period. To nothing. My daughter is a doctor and owns a clinic and thought that she would get it because she believed in Dr. Fraudster, to the point over me and me trying to educate her on what I knew, the simulation that was coming from 2019 in October. It was an event and it had a number on it, and on that number was 201. And in that there was all represented. They were all there. The pharmacy, the gates, all of it. And they did the simulation and how it needed to go down. I follow this stuff. I'm able to watch this stuff. I was already on it. I knew it was coming. So by 2020, she was sick of me telling it. By 2021, it was there and in her face, and she's thinking I'm a conspiracy theorist and I'm going to take as many. I mean, she was actually angry and like, I'll take as many jabs as I want and I'll get flu shot. I mean, these people have gone over the bender with the fear mongering and in the name of health.
I think at this point, yeah, 3 years out, yes.
Right.
At this
And
point, it is
the
fear
face wearing mask. She came to my house and wanted to wear a mask in my own home. Give me a break.
Well, that was her
I have to.
choice.
No, that is
Listen, I have to-
disgusting
hey.
brainwashing going on in the society that we live in. And it's disgusting because they do not work. Fauci said it in 2005 when he did his report
But
on the
it was still her
19
choice to wear it or not.
Hey, listen, everyone, listen. I have to go pee again.
Uh-oh.
Don't talk about anything COVID or anything that could get my channel shut down while I'm gone.
Amen.
I'm good.
On it. And then we can
Go ahead,
continue
Chuck.
when I
Tell
get
me
back.
your story.
No, I'm just saying everybody had a choice. I did my research and we based what we did upon the research I did. What the other person does is their business. I can't make them do anything and I cannot make them do it, not do something. It's just a fact of life. So if they chose, some of my people chose to do what they thought was right, I can't hold it against them because they was doing what they thought was right. We did, in my immediate family here, we did what we thought was right. Just by doing our own research. But I can't fault them if that's the way they felt.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I occasionally wore a mask during the pandemic just so people wouldn't like yell at me when I went to the store, but and wear them beyond that. But I just so you know, I did find a pretty definitive source for the popular science article here that I listed in the chat is actually the one I was talking about. That's about Operation Popeye, which is actually the government's attempt to control the weather in Vietnam. And so like that was my point, was that they've attempted it and they have definitely attempted it in the past. So like that is real, and it's been reported on by
Yeah.
conspiracy theorists and by mainstream journalists. So.
Didn't they prove that was a failure though when they tried it in Vietnam?
Yeah, it was a failure. That was that's what I said. I said I didn't think they'd been successful at it, or at least not successful to the degree they wanted to. They couldn't exactly manipulate the weather. They could seemingly like cause changes in the weather, but they couldn't control it. They could not control what the weather did. But they did back in the Vietnam War. They had Operation Popeye, and it did, and it's the popular science article. It's right here in the chat. It does talk about the government operation that actually was attempting to control the weather in Vietnam as a tactical thing. And as I said before, I did not say that it worked. I said that they were attempting it. That's all I said. That's all I said.
But that was Operation Popeye was just more cloud seeding.
It was there was. I mean, they tried. I mean, I think if you go into it, it's a little bit more than that. But
well, I'm on Wikipedia, and they're talking about it as a cloud seeding project.
Well, cloud seeding works.
Here's what I'm getting frustrated because I don't want this to be a conspiracy channel, and people like that's all that's coming up lately and I want something more concrete than all of this type of stuff, and I don't want this to be another conspiracy channel that people can come through and just throw out random theories. We were talking earlier about community and education and knowledge and critical thinking.
I'm going to exit. I apologize, but it was something that was brought up. He invited me up to discuss why.
I wanted you here.
So I'm going to go.
I have no
I
problem
appreciate all of you gentlemen. I'm just going to say goodnight because I do need to make dinner. And I totally respect it. And Chuck, what you said, I respect what you said. It happens to be my daughter, who is a doctor, that has fallen into a situation that I'm dealing with. And she's dealing with and is in denial and is too young to be dealing with this. Okay. So that's my situation, and I know what's happened, and I
And
know
I
5 people
and
that
I,
have
res-
passed.
I completely respect your knowledge and your experience in that somewhere. Just so you know,
Right. So
I
I'm just
totally
letting
do.
you know, I know 5 people that did not have nothing, went and did it. They're gone now, between
I
44 and
I got the
54.
I got the vaccine. Now I have permanent vertigo, so I understand.
Okay, so I'm not trying to put fear mongering bullshit out there. I'm telling you what I have encountered. I'm telling you that it's my daughter, and that I do know. I have looked into this. I know about look into 2018 instead of watching one of your just watch the speech. It's like 10 minutes long. He gets introduced by Klaus Schwab, and then look into their charts, and then you'll understand the actual layout of what these people at WAF are chanting about to do worldwide, and where they want to put it. Instead of 2030 now, it's 2028. And that's all I'm getting at. And those of us that are putting out hey, look at this, maybe wake up, we're being shut down. We're being called conspiracy theorists. We're being called crazy by our own families as they're getting ill and passing away. So I'm at the point where I'm not trying to be rude. I was called up here. I explained myself, Chris. Like I said, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you were able to, clear that for me. I appreciate it. And Jeff, I respect your channel. I will never bring something like this to your channel. It's
I
not
don't
my
have a.
thing.
I'm glad you're
not
here.
it's not like that
Nothing
at
I
all.
said was directed at you in particular. It's something I've been noticing for multiple people over the past
Okay,
few days.
gotcha.
Like a few months ago when Israel-Palestine started, we kind of had a problem with it, and we got it under control. And I'm just noticing happening again, and it's not any one person.
Oh,
So
gotcha. Yeah, I don't even
nothing
tap
of it
that.
was directed at you particularly.
I don't even touch the world affairs on that level at all. I don't.
We really appreciate you, Somewhere. I really hope that we don't that you don't
Yes,
stop coming by.
yes,
But please keep
you're
coming
our
back.
biggest girl.
And I just
Okay,
threw
I
that.
apologize.
I just threw that disclaimer out there because I know a couple of 3 channels that got hit by YouTube. That's the only
Yes, yes.
reason.
Well, nobody better hit my channel. So
Everything I've said is just allegedly. Some people have said some things allegedly. I have no idea. So it's all allegedly. It's just what I've
this is
heard.
not a medical channel, so nobody. This is not medical advice.
Don't take
Nobody
anything to heart. Take care of
Yes,
yourself
That's all
first.
I was trying to point out
yeah.
with that
That's
statement,
right.
to keep Jeff safe.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
I
Well, I
don't know.
appreciate you very, very much. And you guys have a really good night, and bless up, because I'm going to get some dinner going here. My
You
son should be
too.
back any
Enjoy that
minute, and I'm
chicken
kind of
and those
excited.
asparagus. That
Yeah,
sounds so good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go enjoy your dinner. Like
All right, guys. Take
I'm
care
about to
now.
make dinner too. So I hear you.
Take
Oh,
care.
Have a
good,
great
good.
one.
Nice meeting you, Chuck. Take care of your
Alrighty,
family.
ma'am.
Bye
Yes,
bye.
ma'am. Bye-bye.
Well, is it dinner time for everyone? Y'all want to go
It's pretty
call it
close.
call it a
I
Yeah,
gotta
it's pretty
go.
close.
Feed
It
ourselves.
kind of feels like everything's kind of like we kind of came to the end of that discussion anyway. I don't have any other topics to talk about, so
Well, I'll just throw this in there quick. I don't see how any of this newfangled
Oh, damn it! You
knowledge.
cut out, Chuck.
Well,
Oh, there you
yeah, somebody decided to call me spam.
Oh,
But I don't know how any of this newfangled stuff will even work. And I'm talking about the Neuralink or the
yeah, I hear you too.
CBDBB thing, because down here where I live, you seen how my internet just come and went.
Yeah.
We don't. Nobody had in the. I know in the South or the Midwest, not everybody has internet or even
Well,
access to it.
I would only
that's a
say
good
that
point.
I would say that most of the technology is usually focused on the cities.
It's
They
going to be
don't
the
really,
blue, like the cities
yeah.
that get it first.
They don't care about the red states and like the rural areas. They don't get the flyover states or what they call them. They don't give a
Yep.
shit about them. They know that those people aren't going to get it or aren't going to be if
Well,
it
they don't
is
give a
if
shit
the-
about the blue cities either. It's
yeah.
capitalism. It's morally neutral. So it's not about caring or giving a shit
Great
at
yeah,
all.
Yeah,
Even
that's
for the
fair.
cities, that's
Well,
just
that's
where
like what is it, 5G? You know, the tower's got to be real close. There's no way that's going to work in the rural setting. They're not going to invest all that
I remember
money.
growing up, like the little small towns were the last to get cable TV too. They got it years after everybody else had cable.
My parents in Texarkana, which is not even that small of a city, it's got over like 150,000 people in it. They just recently got internet access that's above the old school DSL limits. I'm talking about like they just got like 1 megabit internet.
We just got cable TV last year in my area.
Really? Just cable TV?
Yes.
Shit, dude.
The
You
only
didn't have cable TV until last year.
Down in the
crazy. And now it's not even relevant anymore. It's not like nobody even watches it anymore. That's insane.
And the only internet that was available when I moved here in 2020 was that HughesNet satellite.
Yeah,
and they
the
wanted
HughesNet satellite.
They wanted $138 for a 5 meg system.
5 megabit connection. Yeah, I know. I looked in the HughesNet. Yeah, I know. 5 megabit connection. I didn't megabyte connection. A 5 megabit connection.
Megabit.
Which is so slow.
It's worse than dial-up.
Yeah, it's not worse, but it's not much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not kilobyte connection, but it's not much better. Yeah.
Because when I lived up in St. Louis and we was having 100, 200 megabyte connections, no problem. And I get down here and it's like I'm having to send SOSs, with smoke signals.
No, every time I have to go back to Texarkana, even though the internet there they've finally gotten it back above that level. Every time I go back there, I just feel like it feels like it feels like I'm back in dial-up era. I mean, like I can stream there, okay, but like the streaming works better than like just looking at websites and shit like that. If I just want to browse something on the internet, it takes forever, and I don't know why. But streaming works okay. I streamed from there several times, and it was fine. But I don't know why. But I guess it's a different protocols or whatever. But yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Like they're not concerned with those states. They're not concerned with Louisiana. They're not concerned with Alabama. They're not concerned with rural Texas. They're not concerned with Kansas, except for the major
they're not concerned with
population
it from a profit perspective. Not that's it.
Exactly.
It's not like capitalistic. The logistics of it is just not as lucrative, so they're not incentivized to be concerned about it.
Yeah.
I can remember when they had that.
There's no market.
A couple of Christmases ago, when that guy blew up the AT&T building in Nashville, we didn't have cell phone service for a week, and there's no landlines anymore.
I know the last time I had a landline was 16 years ago.
Now they're like
my parents will have one.
You can get a telephone through your cable company.
That's true. That's true. My internet company does offer me landline service all the time. I'm just like why? What would I want that for?
We didn't even have cable. How are we going to have a cable phone?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I have Frontier Internet here in Dallas, and like they're constantly sending me emails and constantly trying to push me into upgrading to like a cables plus like landline package. I'm I seriously, like, who wants this anymore? Like who? I mean, it's just like technology is just there's just better technology than that. I mean, like if you have a cell phone, and I do use it to make phone calls occasionally, unlike a lot of people do. I do actually call doctor's offices and stuff like that. So, I do actually occasionally use it for phone calls. So, I mean, but like, why would I want to we have a landline back in my apartment in Vegas like 16 years ago, and it came free with the cable package we had. And and sometimes it would ring and it would freak us the fuck out. We're like, what is even that sound? Like, we didn't even know what it was anymore. We had forgotten
a real telephone.
Is there another phone in here? Where does this other phone come from?
Yeah,
I'm just joking, but yeah. I mean, we didn't really get that freaked out, but
I didn't mean to derail your sign off, Jeff. I was just throwing that in there.
No. That's cool, man.
One of those Southern goodbyes.
Yeah, that's right.
Long, tall
The Irish
drink of water.
goodbyes. The Irish goodbyes. When someone just disappears without a word.
Yeah,
The
the
southern
Southern goodbyes where they
the
say
southern goodbye
goodbye
takes about
5,
2
6
hours.
times over 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that old saying, but I can't. Mm.
Whenever I was growing up, my dad was a pastor, right? He was a youth pastor and stuff like that. And I remember like church and everything. That would be like the church was like an hour and a half or something like that. But
2
what took
hours to
so
get out.
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
but before we left, like I remember falling asleep in the car as a child many times because my parents would just be talking to other
Yeah.
people right outside the car. That would just like
They
right
would
outside the car.
stand
They'd
in
just be
they would
standing there.
stand in front of the church after it was
Yeah,
over. Everybody would
yeah,
and shake hands and say goodbye for hours.
yeah, for
They'd
hours and
see each other.
hours.
They see each other in a week.
And like that, I think that's the reason why I'm such a night owl now, because like I grew up like having to stay awake late at night, because my parents would be having these long ass conversations with people like after like the evening church service and stuff like that. So, and like to this day, I don't sleep well until I get to like 3 or 4 in the morning. Like I can't even like it's like unless I'm like exhausted for some reason, I can't or medicated, I cannot get to sleep before like 3 or 4 in the morning. It's just like it doesn't work. Like my brain just is like that's not sleep time. It's just programmed me from a young age. It's all because of the Southern goodbye, as we said. So, and concluding our Southern goodbye. This has been a great stream, guys. I appreciate everybody out there. Somewhere in time, I really do. I really hope that no hard feelings on any of that. I certainly didn't mean any disrespect or anything like
Me
that. So,
either.
and Chuck, once again, a pleasure to have you on. I must admit I enjoyed your back and forth with Jack yesterday a little bit. It was something. Yeah. No, it was. I mean, like you didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't think you did anything wrong, really. And like like he got triggered as fuck. But it was a fun stream. I would say I told Jeff and told Nerdjack too. I was like, that's the most fun I've had on the stream besides this one. I have fun on this stream every day, but that's the most fun I've had on someone else's stream in a long time. Like I haven't had and like mostly because like I was doing like this open shirt thing just to troll to troll people in the chat, because I knew that they were gonna like they would not be able to resist antagonizing me over it, and then I would just ignore them, and I just find that hilarious. I find hilarious. They're just like button your shirt up, and I was just like ignoring it.
Well, when I'm talking,
there's a girl.
when I'm talking to somebody, I'm generally looking at their face. I'm not looking elsewhere.
Exactly. Like, what are you looking at my chest for anyway, right? I told him I was bringing Chesty back.
Chesty, Chesty the clown.
Oh, the Justin Timberlake thing that I'm bringing sexy back thing.
Good luck on that. All right, fellas, I'm going to get off here. I got to go.
Me too.
I just got home from the doctor's appointment. 2.5 hour drive just to go see the doctor. But
dude, I feel you there. I do that not quite 2.5 hours, but those long drives go see.
Telehealth.
So they will set me up with like, telehealth would be, but there's sometimes they will not do telehealth, and I have to drive like an hour and a half to 2 hours across town because of the traffic in Dallas, just to get to like some doctor.
Some doctors will not do it.
Yeah,
they won't do it. All right, guys, I gotta go cook, and y'all have a good day, and it's a pleasure being with you.
Enjoy. We'll be here tomorrow. Take care.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, if you're around later, like let's either continue Survivor or let's like watch an episode or something like that.
When you want to do it.
Right now, I have to go out to mail. I got to go mail like 5 packages, and I got to take this to the post office. And after I get those packages in the mail, then I should be coming back here. I might pick up some food or something for Lindsay. I don't know what she wants to eat, but I might pick up something.
Just message me, and if I'm doing something else, I'll contact you when I get it.
I mean, even if it's later tonight, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, if you feel up to it, like, I'll be around. I've got as usual, I'm getting close to the end of it. I'm getting close to the end of my. I finally pulled everything else out of the storage unit. The storage unit is salvageable, and so like I have nothing else to. I have everything I have to launder and try to put online is all in the house now. So once I get to these piles, like it's that part of it's done. It's just like all airport. It's just if people buy stuff. So like I'm thank God I hate and it's become my life lately. So. Yeah, I'm so sick of laundry right now. I just I don't even want to think about it, but I still have to. I have to do it because it's just it's cluttering up everything. I have no room to walk because I have clothes containers everywhere. So
Well,
anyway,
yeah, just message me later, and
yeah, I'll
we'll do
message you
something.
later, man. And yeah, have a great rest of your evening if I don't talk to you, but I'll talk to you tomorrow on stream otherwise. Good night and good luck.
Take care. Good night. Okay, that is the show for today. I want to I didn't quite get to finish this little dialogue on community, so I want to wrap that up and hit some key points. Education being key. Should it reach all corners of the community? Would that be nice? I was trying to do that even today. Perhaps it's like separating out the speculation, the conjecture, or what I call gossip from the sense making and the truth. There's got like opinion into knowledge, that like the Samuel Johnson phrase of improving opinion into knowledge. That's what I'm trying to do here. And it's fine to come on and say something, but be prepared to take the next step and give evidence or demonstrate that something is actually something we should take seriously. So Aristotle says perhaps a true community is one where education is not a luxury but a necessity. I would definitely say that's true here, even more so, where every member, regardless of their station, has the opportunity to develop their mind and character. Yes, I hope you feel like you have the opportunity to do that here, because that's what I'm going for. For then, only then can we truly build a community based on wisdom, justice, and shared purpose. And then they give this little narrative. The question of community remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Athens. What binds us together? What are the responsibilities we owe to each other? How can we create societies that are just, equitable? Oh, I have such a hard time saying that word. And flourishing. Perhaps, as Socrates and Aristotle remind us, the answers lie not in pronouncements from on high, but in the ongoing dialogue between members, a constant questioning and refining of our shared values and aspirations. And I think I will end it there. There was something I was going to go back and ask Socrates or Aristotle, but I'll figure out what that is, and we can continue this dialogue with them tomorrow, and maybe talk to some other historical figures. So enjoy your day today. Chris and I will be watching Survivor in the Discord. If you want to be a part of that, just message one of us. And if not, we'll be here tomorrow, 2 p.m. We will see you then for another round of whatever this is. Okay. Take care. Bye.